Welcome to Outlaw Radio. I don't know what happened to the intro video. It decided to stop. Welcome to the show. Dion, how are you already in the chat room? I didn't even start the show. He said, where the fuck everybody at? Welcome to Outlaw Radio, man. My name is Kevin Barnes. I'm the host of Outlaw Radio. And tonight's episode is called Out of Order. Out of Order. Share the show, share the show. It's what we do on Wednesday night. Of course, normally I'm not alone. However, sometimes people don't, they're not always where they're supposed to be. When they're supposed to be there, it's called colored people time. But in the meantime and in between time, I will start the show out myself by myself. Like I said, man, it is Wednesday night. This is what we do normally on Mondays and Wednesdays, 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time until about 9. There's a number which is 262-202-5131. 262-202-5131. There's also a chat room. There's many different ways you can get involved with Outlaw Radio. So, what do we do on Outlaw Radio? Well, we talk about a lot of things. A lot of things that we feel are pertinent to our community, to our quality of life. What we actually have going on. As they say, how you living, right? And who you with. So we talk about a lot of that. And then there's a lot of things that's, what I would call current events. So if you have an opinion on any of those things, you're free to join into the conversation. Now, there's also a level where if you have something to promote or you're doing something big that you feel like the people should know about, all you got to do is hit me up, and we'll bring you on. I promote a lot of people's stuff for free just because I feel like we have to support us. So it's Outlaw Radio, man. Out of order tonight. But I want to start out because it is actually International Women's, is it Women's Day or Women's Month? I don't even know. Right? Is it day or month? Okay. Women's Day is what I have so far, but I think it's International Women's Month. So everybody has their month, right? What I want to know is, are women beefing over this being a month like we were with Black History? Are they saying every day is women's history, every month is, women's history 365? I want to know if that's how women feel. I know we have a lot of women who listen to the show. Shout out to women, by the way. My mama was a woman, as they say. My mama was definitely a woman. And so I wanted to talk tonight about women, in particular Black women, and not just talk about them, but salute them. This world, man, that we live in, the gender roles, I guess, as we once knew them, have kind of shifted, right? And not shifted in the traditional sense of the word, but like who's responsible for what part of the pie, right? When we talk about women, and I'm once again, I'm speaking about Black women. It is International Women's Month Day, whatever it is. um, I think women play such an integral role in the family. When we talk about the family, I mean, come on, like the woman is the one who carries the seed and she bores the seed. So, inadvertently, the woman most of the time is the center of the universe in any family, and in particular, the Black family. So when I said my mama was a woman, I said that as kind of like a salute to acknowledge that my mother was a very strong Black woman, okay? A very tough Black woman, right? But my mother understood certain things about the difference between a man and a woman, okay? So I said that to say I was raised with a certain kind of understanding. Like my mom labeled a lot of things feminine and masculine. Like so in not in today's society, people get flack for that, right? Like because my mother was the first one to say to me something like, don't do that shit. That's something a girl will do. Or you ain't no female, stop acting like that. Or what have you. So if people would say, well, that's now you what they call it toxic masculinity, I think it's probably an incredible irony that when we talk about toxic masculinity, I was taught a lot of what I know about masculinity from my mom, right? Now, don't get me wrong, my father reinforced it. My father wrote the blueprint. He kept it pushing like he should have. But my mother reinforced a lot of that stuff. So when I say International Women's Day or International Women's Month or whatever it is to salute women, I'm totally with it. I'm totally with that. So I just wanted to get that clear. Kamar, you look really blurry, man. I don't know what's up with you. I know you said your computer got to warm up. I don't know. You look really blurry. You all right?
No, I doubt if that got anything to do with it. Yeah, I'm all right,
Okay.
man. I don't know what's going on with the camera though, but yeah, it look all right
So
to
it's
me.
yeah, it's really
It
muddy.
ain't crispy,
You'll see it.
crispy, but it's never really been that crispy.
Now normally it looked pretty good on my end. Tonight it looked kind of shady. But
Let me
what's
look
happening
and
with you,
see what it
man?
look
Camera,
like. All right, man. I'm
you
all
know.
right, man. Just running around doing my thing, man. Got a lot of stuff up. I'm excited. You know what I mean? Vibrating super high right now. I'm on 10 on 1,000 type shit. It's
Okay.
a good thing. You know what I mean?
Right. Let me see if this is I don't know what he what's happening, real?
Chilling, trying to get my adapter working. I got a thing that I could plug my charger and my headphones in. This motherfucker tripping.
You motherfuckers and y'all technology issues, y'all. Just it only take 15 minutes. Motherfuckers coming. Oh my goddamn Wi-Fi done went out. I'm resetting my modem. Cam, if you start doing that shit at 7:28, you're not gonna be on time for the show and shit, right? But anyways, whatever, man. Whatever. I guess what happened tonight is a perfect example of what I named the show, out of order, right? Outlaw Radio, out of order. You motherfucking shit out of damn man, my Wi-Fi down. That dude said he got a adapter with a knob on it. I don't know what kind of internet you he
Yeah,
just
so
turned
I
my
could
Wi-Fi down.
talk without my without losing any power.
Oh, okay.
Otherwise, my phone dies with the when I'm on the like FaceTime.
Yeah, it's ironic. People always talk about flip phones, and I'm the only one sitting over here with a total real savoir-faire digital setup, right? And people talk the most shit to me about mine. But anyways, it's Outlaw Radio. I was saluting women. Now this is National Women. Uh, is this month or day?
Both.
The month is Women's History Month, but today is International Women's Day.
Okay, it's day. Okay, I said month. It's day. Show you how out of the loop I am. Sean Moore, what
Well,
it
it
do,
is the
man?
same month, though, ain't it?
Uh-huh.
It is
It
this month.
is. So
Yeah, so you
yeah,
ain't
so
wrong,
you
kid.
good.
So I was saying, I see you, Dion. He said, "What the fuck, family?" I think we got it together now, y'all. I think we are right now. But I was saying, I acknowledge this, and I say my mama was a woman, right? And I mean that in the most. It sounds funny, but I mean it in the most respectful terms because I feel like she was a good teacher to me of what a woman is and what a man should be, right? And like so she wasn't just biased one side. As a matter of fact, I remember my mother a couple times breaking down, telling me something, saying, as a woman, I'm not really supposed to tell you this as because you a man, but you my son, so I'll give it damn. And she would tell me certain things about women, how they, operated, and would say you got to be aware of that. So, shout out to all women, man. And I said that like assuming I'm not saying all women are mothers. Even if you're not a mother, shout out to you too. The women, Kamar love women. Tell them about it, Kamar.
Yeah, man, I love women, man. You know what I mean? That's what I live for. That's what all men live for. Everything we do on earth is for women. You know what I mean? You look at it deep enough, that's what it is. I don't care if you're getting a good job, you however much money you trying to get, you trying to satisfy a woman. You know what I mean? If you got a woman, you want her to be happy, right? You know what I'm saying? That's what it's all about. You know what I mean? They some amazing creatures, man. They pulling energy out the universe and wrapping flesh around it and giving it to the earth. You dig what I'm saying? So, like, yeah, man, it's something that we should be celebrating. No doubt. They worthy of it.
So my question before y'all got here, because y'all was late, was uh are women beefing with each other saying, I ain't you taking whatever they give you. Fuck men. They can't tell. It's Women's International Day every day, bitch. Is that what women are saying? Like how we was with Black History Month? I'm wondering.
Well,
I
some
wouldn't be
of them, and you
surprised.
know what I mean. Some of them, and they got a right to feel like that. You know what I mean? Just like we do for Black History Month, they got a right to feel like they want more.
Yeah. All you negative motherfuckers. Real. When we talk
Hey, I
about
heard something on the radio today. My bad. They had a question on the radio, like since we on this subject, they was talking about or they had this sister on there. They called in and was talking about if a man want to date her, he got to pay for her babysitter too. Like she just meeting him. You know what I mean? And if he want to go on a date, he got to pay for the babysitter. You know what I mean? They had people calling in saying what they feel about that. You know what I mean? I thought that was a dope subject because you know what I mean. It could go it could go a bunch of different ways. Actually, you know what I mean. You just got some women that's out there thirsty and looking for $1. You give them some babysitter money, they put that money in their pocket. You know what I mean? But then it's also the flip side of it where it's like I always felt like if it's a sister that I want to go out on a date with and I really like her and I want her to take time out of her schedule, you know what I mean? And I know she ain't got nothing. She got to do something with her kids while I get this time. So yeah, I pay for it in that sense. You know what I mean? But I just felt like it was levels to it. You got some women that's just out here thirsty.
The first thing I can say to that is this. Let me tell you something. Right now. There's no way in this earth, on this earth, in this galaxy, in this universe, during this lifetime, that I would ever pay for any woman's babysitter because I wanted to take her on a date. We just wouldn't go on no date. Either you come to my house or I come to yours. You put a little dog to sleep, we watch a movie, have some food, date done. I'm not paying for your babysitter. That is the most asinine thing I've ever heard. And I said, when you said that, I was like, this is a no-brainer. Absolutely not. Under no circumstances. This will never happen. So
I don't know. Like I could see a circumstance. You know what I mean? If it's a sister I've been knowing for a while and I know she fit my agenda, you know what I mean? I want to go on a date with her. We never talked about it before. And I know she got a child that she ain't got no kid's father to, which could be another issue. You know what I'm saying? But like if I really want to talk to her, want to go on a date or something, man, yeah, I'll pay for a babysitter just so I can get her up out the house. I've probably done it before.
Now, Rail, what you think about this? Rail? Let's go. Early. Kamar wanted early. Let's go, Kamar. I want to smoke. Let's go.
I mean, this is just my personal opinion. If she hurting that bad where she ain't got the bread for a babysitter, or she ain't got the support of family to where she can find a babysitter for like an hour, that might be an early sign of some problems that I don't want to take on anyway. She might, if she ain't got no support system, she gonna be stressful as fuck. And then if she ain't got no bread, she gonna be stressful as fuck. So I think, like, to me, that's a telltale sign of keep it pushing.
Hey, look, you're right. In that sense, that's why I say it's two different sides to it. Like I say, if it's somebody I want to talk to, you know what I mean? She may have the money. I just want her time. You know what I mean? I want to get her away from the kid. I want to get her out on a date so I can have some time alone to talk. You know what I mean? Yeah, I pay for that. You know what I mean? I could dig that. But no, if a chick talking about if she telling me after I tell her let's go out and she say you got to pay for my babysitter, oh hell no! You don't tell me.
See, I seen something like that. I seen I seen a video before where the chick was trying to get dude to pay for like her son's meal, like, and you gonna get me a doggy bag to take home to my son. Or something like that.
Seen that video.
She was trying to say because he was late to the date or some shit. But yeah, man, some motherfuckers out here just pretty bums and trying to find a way to feed themselves and their children.
Listen, man, I'm gonna have to go real on this one. The fact that you can't afford or don't have a babysitter is an indicator of trouble to come. Listen, if you can't afford a babysitter, you don't need to go on a date. You need to be focused, right? Like, we got issues here. Now let me catch my chat room up. I'm sorry, y'all. Dion says, "What about the studs and the trans women?" I see. Okay,
shit.
more controversy because
Can't
I
speak
don't
for them.
necessarily include them in women. Like when I say women, I'm
Can't
not
speak for them.
talking. Tell me if I'm wrong for this. When I say Women's Day, I'm not talking about trans women. Am I wrong for that?
No, you
Okay.
ain't wrong because they don't even want to
Okay.
be women.
Right. I'm just saying, like people might
Why
nowadays might
should
say
we
whatever
give?
they would say
Now I was just
that's
saying,
not
like they don't even
PC,
want to be
right?
women. Yeah, they don't even want to be women. Why should we give them credit for being women?
No, they want to be women. Trans women are
Oh,
men
you talking
who
about trans women? I thought you was talking about the women that want to be men.
no, I said trans women. That's what
The
he
men
said,
that want to be
studs
women,
and
they don't
trans
get
women.
no action either. Shit, they don't get no action either. They don't
Well,
get no Father's Day action. They don't get no Mother's Day action. They don't get shit.
what you think about this all, man? Because I know I wanted to give you a chance to just kind of acknowledge the whole. I mean, because I know women are a big part of your deal, right? Like,
Oh
how do you
yeah.
did you buy your baby girl some flowers today? Did you say, hey, baby, hey, happy International Women's Day? Or how did you finesse this, Mr. Valentine?
Shit, today was just the day. But it was just Wednesday that I had to take my ass to work.
Oh, okay.
but as far I seen a meme today on Instagram that was saying Happy International Women's Day to like all women, and it was a meme that showed like different color women, different ages, all kind of shit. But then it even had one that was an altered man, so I guess they whoever made that meme feel they should be included too. But as far as like to the question in the comments, um, as far as studs, I mean, like I consider a woman someone who was born with a womb. You know what I'm saying? So she might she might wear sports bras to strap her shit down. She might be walking around with a utility belt to attach shit to it. But that's a woman to me, and I'm gonna honor her as a woman. I mean, any dude that augmented himself. I mean, if you weren't born with a womb, if you never experienced uterine cramps during your time of the month, I don't think you put in the work to earn that title.
Thank you. But I guess I'm see when I said that I didn't really do a great job of articulating it, meaning that I don't consider them women because they weren't born with vaginas or ovaries or that kind of so you call the womb. So for me. When you say
That's
woman to me,
yeah,
well, in my mind it says, well, what is a woman? Well, a woman is born with this, and that. And I guess people
right.
say, well, that's how you've been taught. You're brainwashed, Kevin. That's fine. So I guess I could articulate it better by saying what you just said. Like, no offense, but I consider a woman because I feel like they should have maybe International Trans Women Day. I'm sure it is somewhere somehow, and then they can get it like that
That
on that
might
day.
be pushing it a bit much.
No, I think they have that, Kamar. I think they actually have that.
I still think it's pushing
I
it, man.
mean,
Like,
however they
making up
feel.
shit now at this point.
I mean, it's all made, but I mean, I guess everybody want to feel special, so that's beautiful.
All
That's a
right.
beautiful
Look at
thing. But
me. Look at me. Look at me.
me
He
Yeah, but
said, let
personally,
me give
that's
him
your
shout
job
out.
to make yourself feel special. Quit
it,
looking for
Dion
everybody
says,
else. That's the problem with people now, man. We looking for everybody else, for satisfaction from everybody else. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Assurance from everybody else. Gratification from everybody. Hey, come on, man. Stop that shit.
yeah.
Dion says, I can't even take this International Women's Day seriously. Come on, where's the International Men Day? I mean, are we gonna go tit for tat like that, Dion? He said, first and foremost, I'm dating no woman with kids. Okay, there we go. He said, I agree, Kev, but at 45 years of age, I'm not paying for no sitter. He said, Bull, you better not be dating women with kids, bro. No cap. Damn, you put him on restrictions?
First
That's
off,
crazy.
hey, wait a minute. First off, I got a woman. I live with a woman. I'm just talking about back in the day, you know what I mean? When the nigga was doing the street shit, yeah, I wouldn't have mind paying for it. I'd pay for it.
I
The money was
absolutely
there, you know
love,
what I mean? Yeah. What they
absolutely.
used to say, if you it ain't tricking if you got it.
I absolutely love the way Kamar brought a total halt to that moment. Like, wait a minute, I got a woman. Like, hold on, man. Wait, hold on.
Yeah,
I don't know if she's
hey,
sitting
just get
nearby
that.
or
Let's
she's
sort
hearing.
that out. I ain't out here. I ain't out here trying to find no dates now.
Wait a minute, I have a woman.
I feel
And I
you. Hey,
didn't
I
have to
feel
pay
you.
for and I didn't have to pay for a babysitter either.
Thank you.
So,
Problem
so don't
solved.
want nobody to think that there's something that's just running
Come
rampant
on,
around here. You
come
know what I
on.
mean?
Talk
Not
your
like
shit. Talk your shit.
that.
What you talking about? Mama Jenkins, how you doing this evening? She said, "Good evening, my outlaw family. I stand on the shoulders of many. There's too many to name, but my mother was the first to train me and groom me for womanhood. I will always cherish the memories and share some of the knowledge that I was taught. I hope a woman knows her power and how powerful she can be." And I that's my thing was that's really when I said women are really normally the center of the family. Like mama run the house, unless you just a really overbearing, abusive ass dude, right? Mama usually what mama wants is the narrative of the day. If mama
Yep.
ain't feeling good, it's y'all be quiet. Mama ain't feeling good. If mama happy, it's like, yeah, mama happy. If mama's mad, it's like, oh shit. Y'all walk on pins and needles. Don't nobody give a damn how daddy feel. He could be sick as hell, kids hanging from the roof, playing the cymbals, everything. Damn, daddy's sick. Who cares? Father's Day come, nobody gives a shit. Mother's Day, the whole world closes down. So the woman is the center of it. And normally, a good woman is very, very, very adept at making a man at least feel like he's in control. He really not. You give your opinion and she make you think that's a good idea, baby. She probably already took care of the shit. I'm just saying. They're a little bit ahead of us.
Hey,
Uh, Ben said
old
when
man
men have
told me,
conversations, it's in our perspective that we speak. Absolutely, absolutely. Dion said them hard legs want to be women. He said, why we never hear about trans men? Well, what's is
Huh?
that a thing? A woman who wants to be a man, would that be considered a trans man? I'm not up on my shit like that. I don't know. Y'all tell me.
Mm-hmm. I
Sharon
believe
Evans, what's
so.
going on? What's going on? She said, what's going on, Outlaws? Look, man, it's out of order, man. It's out of order. It's out of order. Outlaw Radio tonight. We're gonna talk about why I call it that. Shout out to my nephew, Brian Barnes. He said, good talk. Hey, man, listen, this is what we do on the show. And when, like, we have a lot of back and forth, especially in the black community, because our women, their roles have changed, right? Like a lot of sisters get down. They have to, because they've had to because of a lot of different factors when it comes to our presence in the community. And so you got women now who ain't those, she don't have to really sit back and be quiet and take your shit no more. Although there's a lot of women who do. But a woman now could be like, fuck you, I'm gone. I don't need you. I mean, when they say I don't need you, it's like, I think that's mostly financial, but I also think that's a result of white feminism and black women getting a whiff of that and just kind of running with it. And the thing is, I
yeah,
think that has been counterproductive in our
right.
community. And so
Feminism, yeah. I
and
agree
I'm
with you.
saying white feminism, okay?
Yeah,
And I'm gonna tell you why I'm saying white feminism. Because those white women were with those white men who was like, fuck everybody. Nobody has rights except for us. We don't care what race, what culture, what sex. If you ain't a white male, you can get your duck sick. I didn't mean to say that word. Excuse me. I was trying to say it backwards, like MC8, but I messed up. But so those women were dealing with the controllers, right? They were dealing with the men who were really foot on your neck and your throat. When black women get into that mantra, you're not dealing with those white men who have power and all this kind of shit like that. So you bringing that to us, and it just doesn't match. And I say a lot of women lost a sense of what the black family structure should or would or could be. And to me, once they really found out how to get at the black family structure, that's what started us downhill to where we are right now as a community. Because really, we can't really be faded. But when you break our families down and you put generational poverty, generational trauma and abuse and neglect and this kind of shit in the mix, then the ties that bind are very, very weak. But I guess that was a pro Women's Day and kind of like an anti Women's Day
that
because I
was
said
good shit,
everything
man.
feminism was good
Hey,
for.
Man, that was real shit, man. White people tricked white women tricked our women into thinking that they took on that same fight. They got that same fight. You know, years ago, white men were shitting on their own women. So they needed more
Right.
women to get in with their struggle. You know what I mean? So they tricked our women into thinking that it was the same shit.
Right. And you got to
Our
think
women
about it
was
like this.
already being shitted on by their men.
They didn't, those women, those white feminist women didn't care about the sisters. They cared about women's liberation and women's rights because they want to get away from that white man. Because white
Right.
women are some of the most racist. When you ain't no racism like the racism that come from an old racist white woman. The old white dude, you kind of know he gonna say nigger, he gonna do all that kind of shit. The old racist white woman is hell to take to the captain. She will get, that's where we get the Karen phenomena from. And so you got to think these are the kind of white feminist women who influenced some sisters back in the days with their putting in their mind, you don't need him. You get out and get it yourself. You can work a career, you can get an education, which was all fine. But for the sisters, it should have been, well, keep the family intact though. Don't sacrifice that to have some material shit or some money or whatever. And so we just kind of lost the value of relationships. We kind of lost the value in each other to say, nah, it's a beautiful thing when a black man and a black woman are on the same accord. That is the most beautiful machine you've ever seen in your life. So how do you fuck that up? Well, we got to divide and conquer, right? I'm gonna break him down, I'm gonna build her up. And that's just kind of how they started to do it, because they broke us down. We fell for the okey doke too. Vince says, Kev, I tell women in the very beginning that I don't celebrate any of those capitalistic days. If you expected something from me, I think he got cut off. I know the rest of that statement, Vince. And I mean, Valentine's Day is cool, whatever. I realize the sweetest day is supposed to be for the men, so we ain't getting shit. I don't get shit, at least. I don't give nothing either. But Valentine's Day is one of those days. It's kind of like, all right, I don't mind, like I said, I don't mind acknowledgement. I don't mind saying, I feel like you should treat a woman like a woman. I like to be disrespectful to women. It's just like something that we shouldn't do, which extends itself to a whole bunch of different things. And different women feel disrespected by different things. So you just it's hard for men sometimes to navigate. You don't want to come off a certain way, but eventually you will. Like one of them is gonna say he is fill in the blank. I just don't like him. Or whatever. So you can't, that's why I say it's for a man to be himself. And that goes back to that conversation with Kamar, what Kamar was saying about, well, can you pay for my babysitter so we can go out tonight? That's a question that if a woman,
right.
I would just be,
hell no.
Right. Like, nah, I'm good.
If you ask me, no.
I can wait till you get a babysitter. Like, it's all good, right? I don't know. Y'all tell me how y'all feel in the chat room. How y'all feel. I want to talk about being out of order, though. Right. I thought about that term. Out of order. What does that mean? Well, you go into a gas station, you got to piss real bad, ask for the key. Oh, it's not working, buddy. And there's a sign on the door that says out of order, right? And that means that it's not functioning correctly.
That's what you...
So when I think about the black community, when something is wrong or somebody offends you, you say, man, you out of order. Right? So I look at the city of Milwaukee and I think about all of the negative, statistics and all this kind of stuff we have been saddled with. And I'm thinking right now we need to put a big ass sign on the city that says out of order. Like where it says welcome to Milwaukee, it should be an out of order sign hanging to it. I want to talk about Judge Borowski, but we got a caller. Caller, turn down your device. Hello?
Hey, Kev, can you hear me?
Yeah, what's going on, Vince? How you doing?
Not too much, man. I just wanted to call in. Can you hear my device or anything in the echo?
No, you tight now.
Okay. No, I was talking to a guy I went to high school with last week, and I was asking him, I said, well, what happened to what's going on in Milwaukee? And he said it's the men. And one thing, and I'll get to some other points too. One thing that he pointed out is that when he said men, he said his father died when he was 11 years old. And if it wasn't for the guy down the street that picks up after that and was taking him fishing and and he said he'd go on a boat and he say, the dude would say, motherfucker, don't you know how to reel or throw it out there? Because he couldn't throw the thing out there. So he learned how to cuss through this man. But the point he was trying to make is that he had a man to raise himself. And I've always remembered back to when I grew up, I had a mother, I had 3 sisters. It was hell in my house when somebody had on that time of the month. I didn't know nothing about it. But if it wasn't for the men in the community, I wouldn't be who I am. But he also brought up the point, like today in the world, and I think you mentioned it earlier about women and the fact that they're making more money. Well, he said his wife has been making more money for him for a while, and that does play into the role, but he never backed down his manhood. And he played his role. I mean, he made more money than him, but you're not going to take away from me the fact that I'm a man. And he said, well, an example, and you're not going to feminize my child. So he was in the military, too. He said he came home, and this is how easy it is to understand how some men get transitioned into being who they are, possibly feminized, if you will. So he said he came home one day, and he walked in the house. He said his son had a towel on. You know how women wear a towel up to their chest, on to the top of their chest to cover up their breasts. He said his son had on a towel like that. He said, "Well, over there, snatch that towel off him. You don't want no towel like that." But the fact of the matter, if a boy child is around a woman, he picks up her habits and he becomes feminized in that situation. That's what happened to his son. He said he had to stay on guard and take his son with him to do men things and get him out of the house. And he said it was hell growing up, coming up in that and being in that marriage, and there's still marriage with her and society telling a woman that she makes her own money, she can do what she wants to do. He said he felt the wrath of that because she always kind of came at him, but he never stepped down from being a man. I think sometimes in society right now, because there's pushing, this women issue. I mean, before it was like, if we catch him in the house, the welfare people, you're not going to get this money. Now you make more money than him. He still ain't shit. So they keep putting us in these boxes and want us to be minimized. And we just have to stand up and be men. And we don't have to be abusive or anything, but he's still with his wife and they're still loving and kind to each other. But he says she's not going to turn him into some whatever, because he's going to always be a man. I don't care how much money you want, but you can leave if you have to.
Right. And that's, first of all, my masculinity is not defined by my financial situation. Now, part of, one of the things, and we talk about being a man and having principle, one of those things is to secure you some income. And a man technically should earn. He should earn. Now, here's the next thing that Vince just brought up. Vince hung up too. Shout out to Vince. Can I be successful? Can I be a strong man in the house with a woman that makes more money than me? And how would you feel if it happened? First of all, let me say this. I've been in situations where I made more money than my wife, and I've been in situations where she's made more than me. I'm going to tell you that right now. And I'm going to tell you this. Me being a man has really my financial situation has no bearing on it. Because if I'm not up financially, I'm the type of man where I'm going to be focused and working hard and trying to get things moving in a positive direction. So the one thing I don't need is a beat down. I don't need nobody to tread on me. I don't need to be, you broke my leg. You ain't gonna. I don't need that. I need encouragement. I need for you to be like, baby, you're gonna be all right. Keep on pushing, because I'm not lazy, and my pedigree is to always go and get it one way or another. Just work, right? Find something. So I would hope I got that on the back end, as opposed to I make more money than you, so you're no longer the lead, quote unquote, of this home. In terms of where you lead from a man's perspective, you say who the man in the house is the leader, but you're not the only leader. And that leadership is not single or solitary. It's a shared leadership with your wife, really, to be honest with you. But it's like you the head of state, like you the mouthpiece, but you got a Congress and a Senate. It's checks and balances. So, but yeah, I mean, how y'all feel about that? If your woman make more money than you, where does that put you in terms of being the man of the house?
Shit, that puts you in a good place. Shit. Yeah, there's more money coming in the house. That's all they put you in. It don't take nothing from your masculinity. You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
It just so happened that she make more money. Now the thing is, how does she feel? You know what I
right.
mean? If she gonna talk shit, if she gonna shit on you because of that, dude, you got the type of woman, you know what I'm saying, that fit, that can play that role. I mean,
But that's like one of those things like asking me to pay for the babysitter. That's a red flag. If I see that early on, then that's something to let me know you can never trust this person to stand by you and support you, especially
oh yeah,
because
right, no doubt.
it's not if you fall, it's when you fall. Now everybody's gonna get to some point in their life where they have to deal with something, and you have to get up and you have to recover. But your partner should be complimentary to you with whatever you're going through, good or bad. Real, what you think about this? She got more bread than you, and now she telling you, "Hey, man, you're gonna have to take the pole down in the basement. What's going on? You ain't getting no paper around here."
Yeah. Honestly, when I was married, there was a time where I wasn't working and she was the one working. And I was actually the one at home with my sons. So, shit, like you said, it ain't about the money, it's about earning your keep and pulling your weight. So, I made sure I was having dinner done, having the kids looked after. Shit, when she got home, I let her get like 30 minutes to an hour if she wanted to go to the room and kind of decompress before she come out and, deal with the rest of the family. So it's about what all you bring, and it ain't just monetary value. You know what I'm saying? I
Right,
still
Right.
brought guidance. I still brought
right.
the teaching and the spiritual overseeing and all that other stuff. So it don't make me no never mind as long as my kids is warm and fed.
And see,
Hey, there was a time, man, where it wasn't no money. It wasn't no
Yeah.
finance. You know what I'm saying? And we got along just fine. Men was still men, women was still women.
right. No matter who owned the goats.
Right.
But this bitch got way more goats than me, man. No, no, no. What can I tell her? I can't tell her shit, man. No, but see, and I want people to understand too that there's different levels to broke. There's a spectrum of brokenness, right? Because there's literally laying on the couch playing PlayStation, smoking weed, not even trying to find a job, broke. There is got a job, don't make that much money, struggling to pay his bills, but he gets them done, broke. There is lost my job, had a calamity, hurt, injury, whatever, broke. It's out of my control. There's nothing I could do, broke. And then there's just, the broke where they say he's broke because he doesn't have more than he needs.
You
He's
lazy
paying the
bum.
bills, he's getting by, but he
Then they
ain't no
got that
rich
broke.
man. So he broke. You know what I'm
Hey,
saying?
they got the other broke. You lazy bum.
That's the PlayStation broke. That's the dude who on 2K all day. Talking about, ain't nobody called me back yet. Let me
Shit.
see. Tiarsha Arthur, how you doing, my sister? She said, "Good evening, Kev, Kamar Rail, and the Outlaw family. Outlaw
Good
family is in
evening.
the building. I see y'all." She said, "Mark is out of order. My notification didn't show up." She said, "Who said wearing a towel around your chest is a woman thing?" I always thought that's how a woman comes out the shower. It would be weird to see my
Yeah.
son come out like that to say,
Because you're supposed to be covering up your areas, right? Like, the hell you
right,
covering up your breast for, man?
right. Well, but even if he got it over his shoulder, you know, like just over his shoulder walking, it's still different from him having it wrapped around up under his arm, talking about, "Hey, dad, whoa, bro,
Definitely,
what the fuck is you doing? What you doing?"
definitely.
Like, that's kind of strange. Had to go with Vince on that one. Mama Jenkins says, "I'm with Vince. My husband said every day is a great day for me. We don't celebrate bullshit ass days. We live and love on each other every day. I get gifts, but it's not on special days." She said, after 41 years, we make it do what it do. My mother said a woman make a man a man. She also said James Brown said it's a man's world, but it wouldn't be a thing without a boy or a girl. And a woman
That's,
wrote that song. A lot of
right.
people don't even know that. James Jackter.
That's
She
right.
wrote that song, right? Give it up, give it up. She wrote it. She wrote it. She fought for years to get her just due. Tiarsha Arthur, she says a woman should also earn money if she wants to. What would happen if she just depends on the guy and he leaves her? Right. Well, you know, I think one of
Well,
the
then
things
that's go ahead, Kim.
one
My
of the
bad.
things in any relationship is that you hope you are not codependents, right? Like, so you don't really want to create a situation where you do for, and don't get me wrong, if you have a lot of money, it's fine. But even in that instance, I would encourage whoever I was with, if I was wealthy, to say, no, I need for you to do things. Like, the last thing I want you to do is just be shiftless and just sit at the crib all day and just live off the money, which you probably could, but I'd like for you to have missions. I'd like for you to have things you aspire to. And so that way, if something happens to me, you are mobilized enough to be able to take care of the business. If you just been chilling for years and sitting on your ass eating bonbons, watching TV while I get the money, something happened, you don't know sheep shit from wild honey. We gonna lose all our shit. Now my kids is fucked. So I would, I would hope that, yeah, you hold your person down when they need it, but you don't build up a dependency. You let them know, no, the expectation is for you to be able to get some shit too, right? Like, I'm
Yeah, if
expecting
you
sooner or
ain't,
later.
hey, I always said, man, you know, if you ain't doing nothing that can help this world, help somebody else. So we put that in the perspective of a relationship. If you're in a relationship and you ain't doing shit, but your mate is, help them. Find somewhere, get in where you fit in. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I mean, what why are you here otherwise? I want to talk about Judge Borowski. Judge Borowski today had some comments. He turned the heat up on Milwaukee. He called out the mayor. He called out the aldermen. He called out all the public officials, the leaders. Judge Borowski, who is a circuit judge, I believe, who was doing the sentencing for a young brother who, for whatever reason, was in a situation where he had this real, like, whole crime just past this, all these different stuff he's mixed up in. And so I guess he's in a car and he's in the back seat and he's waving a gun around. He has a gun and he's waving it around or doing something. The gun goes off, kills another person in the car, and they dump the body in the alley somewhere and try to get away with it. But now he was in court. He's been tried. He's been convicted. And Judge Borowski went on a rant. And this is where I got the term out of order for the show, because he said Milwaukee, in some places at certain times right now, is a sewage. He said it's a sewer. I'm sorry. He said it's a sewer. And he said, and people here are sitting on their hands and not doing anything about it. He called the mayor out and said they've done nothing about the problems. They don't have any solutions. He called out the aldermen and said they do nothing. They have no solutions. And he said it's sickening and I'm tired of it. And he gave dude 25 years. So I said, sewer. Oh, out of order. Hang a sign on the door. Because it's a sewer. When the sewer's back up in your basement, it's out of order. So that's how I kind of came up with this. Now, we've been on here this week talking about these issues that Milwaukee has, and we discussed the statistic earlier this week about Milwaukee being the fourth worst place to live for people of color. Because of the median income and because of the property ownership and the average level of education in the households, how many people have bachelor's degrees and whatnot. So we talked about all of that, and we murder. Listen, right now, babies are coming up dead, and this is where the energy that we had the other night when people said, who cares? When I brought up the trans thing, people said, well, we don't care about that because everybody's dying right now, and we need to do something on a wholesale. Because it's people, man, all stabbings, just in the hood, just bodies laying on the bus stop in the alley. That's why I asked the question the other night, like, damn, has City Hall, and I'm not going to even say Mayor Johnson, because at this point I believe it's a machine, i.e. Tammany Hall. If you don't know about Boss Tweed and Tammany Hall, go look it up, go read it. At this point, I'm going to say, has City Hall lost control of the city? Because it's too much to put on one person. And Kamar kind of corrected me the other night. And he said, well, he never had control of the city, right? So has City Hall lost its faculties? Think about all of the problems we have as a city, but then the focus is we want to double the population to 1 million in 3 years. We want to attract big businesses. We want people to say this is a desired destination. But on the other end, you got a judge in court saying it's a sewer. And we know what neighborhoods he's talking about, right? Now, is this racist? It's a sewer. What you saying, Judge? What you saying? Because we know what we know, like I said.
I think
We
he's
know what
saying the
neighborhood.
same thing we say. We saying shit.
Okay.
It's fucked up.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I don't think that's a slight towards us. You know what I mean?
No.
They saying it's fucked up, man. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like really, it's a sewer. Like
And he said this, Kamar, because he said it's a shame that there are communities. He actually apologized, I guess, to the young man and said, I feel sorry for you because you had to grow up in these conditions. Him reviewing all the things that this young man had happened to this young man in his entire life. It's a very long paper trail. And so he was saying, I feel sorry for you that you have to grow up in this kind of environment with adults who just failed you. Your community failed you is basically what he's saying. It's a shame you had to grow up in this situation and have these circumstances. So I just thought what he said was, now this comes from a older white gentleman, and you know, he's dealing with these cases day in and day out. Mama Jenkins said he got in their asses today, all of them. He called everybody out. And he wasn't lying. So I just wanted to talk about this on the show, man, and see what y'all thought about it, because, you know, we got summertime coming and, you know, it's about to heat up. And I just feel like, and we say this every spring, man, it's going to be a crazy summer. And it used to be like when you would say that, the summer wasn't that crazy. It was actually laid back. Now, when you say that shit for the last 3 summers, they've been some crazy ass summers in terms of the violence and the shooting and the car chases and explosions and house fires and people getting people getting killed in every way in Milwaukee. Pills, knives, guns, getting hit by cars in high speeds. It's like, damn. I feel like we as a city have some very important questions to ask those in charge. And I also feel like every time we talk to them, our voices ring out. What I keep hearing with my infinite ear and my great gift of discernment is them saying, what about you? What you gonna do? Because usually when the mayor gives a press conference, he'll say, yeah, this is sad, and then he'll say, well, but we need your help. We need the community to help. He always makes sure he mentions that. And the judge even called out the police. He said, you know, the police don't know what's going on because they can't even utilize their resources to deal with it. Right? So it's out of order. The city is, as we know it right now, broken down. It's out of order, man. And you know, it's up for sale. Usually when something is broken down and raggedy, somebody buys it cheap, right? And then they do their own refurbishments to it and they fix it up how they want. So I feel like this city got a price tag on it. Like this is a vacant house. Is Milwaukee one big ass HUD house? The boarded up house on the block that HUD takes and say, we're going to get Jimmy Carter and them to refurbish this motherfucker, sell it to somebody. Let them fix it up. Erica Ville said, she said Milwaukee is the first city to go. Tiarsha said, what do you think about the new Berlin police chasing 2 dudes here and shooting one of them in the back? I say these thieving mofos need to realize certain cities don't want us in their cities. I tried to sue the new Berlin Police Department in the early 90s. Wow. Why were you trying to sue them, Tiarsha? Or is that, I don't know. Is that putting your business out here? I don't know what they do. Well, yeah, you said it all when you said New Berlin Police, right? Listen, we talked about this a couple weeks ago. So sometimes things we talk about kind of flutter in the wind and people forget about them. A lot of these surrounding areas still have clauses written in property deeds that say people of color can't purchase there. Now, I know a federal act was passed that's illegal. They can't actually do that anymore, but the intention is there, right? And we can do this without making it a legal issue. That's how efficient their racism can be. We can do it where we can make it, you know, we can make it sure that they don't want to live out here with us, you know, and we can do that in a multitude of ways. So, of course, they don't want us in their, you know, until they get control of Milwaukee. Then once they get control of this shit, then they'll say, y'all can have this. Shit, y'all come live out here in the affordable housing complex that we conveniently built down there by the freeway, right? We put all you niggas in the. You said y'all wanted y'all own city, right? Here you go. This is Niggerville. Uh, she said he also told him the community failed him, and this motherfucker's a goddamn sewer every damn day. It's a new story. That judge talked about all them bitches. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, Mama Jenkins. He told him the city failed him. His community failed him. But once again, who's he talking to? Us. Come on now. As a kid say, keep it a buck. He's talking to us. He might as well said, you goddamn niggers. You getting on my goddamn nerve. I'm making him look bad. I shouldn't do that. Vince Tony said gentrification is real. David Crowley allocate money for affordable housing in Brown Deer, Lower South Side, and Tulsa. What he should have said is apartments for rent. Developers make money, owners make money. We have nothing. Well, it's funny that the county and the city both say that they don't have any interest in being landlords, which is why they take, foreclosed property and auction it off. But if you don't have money, here's an idea. If you are a city that's broke, that needs funding, why not take some of that property and rent it out? People say they got that. That's called the projects. But on a different level. If you got blighted homes, you got property, what a perfect way to start a rent to own program. The city owns it, you rent to own it from them, right? Like, wouldn't that make a whole lot of sense? I digress. But it's broke. It's broke. It's broken, and it's out of order. Hang the sign on the hang the out of order sign on the Milwaukee thing on the expressway. Erica Ville said nigga naga equals serpent people. I don't know if she's still on the last show. Because I said Niggerville. Should I call it Nagaville? Is that what they do to make it slick? No, it's not Niggerville. It's Nagaville. What are you talking about? So, man, yeah, man, it's Vince is commenting on Facebook and Vince, we got to get you in the chat room. He said he freaked out. It was in his world as he understood men that he freaked out. He considered while being away in the military, his son was learning women ways. Oh, he's talking about his friend. He's talking about his friend with the towel up. Son came out wrapped up, woman style, as we say. But Milwaukee is a sewer. That's what the judge said today. Do you feel like Milwaukee is? Kamar, do you feel like this city is a sewer? Is it to that point?
Well, it depends. I feel like it depends what crowd you in. You know what I mean? What type of lifestyle you live.
Okay.
If you like, for me, I ain't nowhere that ain't foul. I ain't nowhere that I feel like ain't safe. You know what I mean? I ain't nowhere where motherfuckers acting wild and shit. I'm where motherfuckers is peaceful. They know how to act. You know what I'm saying? So, like, to me, I don't feel like it's a sewer. But it's some shit that we'll say when we watch the news and watch all the bullshit going on.
Right. Real, I heard you complain about your community and how it's changed since you purchased your home and whatnot. Do you feel we at that level yet? It's a sewer. It's just. Or is this another thing, like Kamar pointed out the other night, to make black people think that way, so we'll leave and we won't come here? What you think?
I don't think they gotta make black people think that way, because if you spend enough time outside during the summertime, you're gonna see that shit anyway. Just like you said, on my block now, like each summer, I'll be wondering, like, okay, shit, is this summer gonna be just as stupid as the last summer? Cause on my cul-de-sac, man, I bought it because it's a nice little cul-de-sac, got a park in the middle of it and shit. But now them little niggas come over here and be doing donuts. Like, they drive onto the park grass and be doing donuts and shit. So they put a speed bump on the street adjacent to mine. So now I'm just curious how that's gonna switch things for this summer. Cause now if they still over here and still stupid, they just gonna be driving fast past my house instead of driving fast past down the street. So shit. I want to say it's all about where you look and put the microscope, but honestly, just from personal experience, man, until these parents get on their kids and actually be a fucking parent, man, this city it got me to the point where I'm like, man, shit, I might run up a bag, move to River Hills and Mequon and say, fuck this shit.
Okay. Man, I feel so many different kinds of ways when it comes to what I heard him say, right? Because I feel like you are way more in control of certain things than we feel like we are, right? Like, so to be what I would define as sucker free, right? To really, and it's nothing is a guarantee that this shit won't come knocking on your door, right?
Right.
But a lot of times what we're doing has a lot to do with what's happening to us. A lot of times. So if people kind of got into the mantra of, you know what? The slickest thing you can do in this city right now is just keep a cool booty, get you a nice gig, get your kids, get you some property, or if you rent whatever, exist in a place and try to build community. Try to live somewhere where there's a sense of community, which means common unity. So I should be able to walk out. If I don't live in a neighborhood where I can walk out and see several different individuals and give them the head nod like this, we ain't got to be neighbors going to dinner and all that. Is, hey, how you doing? How you doing, man? I'm good. Hey, man, I see your boy. He done got tall. Yeah, man. Yeah, I see. Yeah, he woo woo woo. And we keep him. We ain't best friends, but we're acknowledging common unity. This is a community. This is where we live. We have to have a sense of pride over here. If that's what we focused on doing, it could be done. The fact of the matter is there's an element in our community that does not want that, really. I keep calling them habitual line steppers. See, you can't be right and wrong, right? You can't go to Bible class in the day and sell weed all night. You're gonna have to choose which one you gonna do, right? Real like shit. I done did that.
Well, I was gonna say, man, that might be the best. You can't sell crack and go to church.
Okay, crack. If we feel passionate, if we say, no, don't get rid of weed, man. Okay,
yeah, but man, get off the weed, man. Get off the weed, man.
Okay, so let's say you are the perfect citizen by day, but then at night you out in the I say, damn, is that Rail on the corner with them? He out there with them, but in the daytime he at the block club meeting, KB, little nigga gotta go. But then I look out the corner, that's Rail on the corner at night. He's out here serving or whatever. That would make you a what? A hypocrite, right? So you have to choose. You have to say, nah, man, I got my kids, I got my family. I want to be around other people like that. The painful thing for us as men sometimes is separating ourselves from our homeboys, right? Because you don't realize that we all have different things going on. And a lot of times when you with the homies and you with them on a regular basis, you end up getting involved in somebody else shit. Don't got nothing to do with you. It was your homeboy. Man, I just went over there with dude, man, because dude was woo woo woo. Yeah, your ass in it now, Craig. So when you start separating from them and saying, I want to forge my own path, I want to be my own man, I'm gonna have to kind of put that, what do you say, put the boyish things aside. When you start to do that, I feel like your quality of life goes up as a man. But as long as I'm gonna keep it a buck and I'm gonna fuck with my day ones, and you can't fuck with your day ones, especially when you 50. You got right. The real day one is you, motherfucker. That's what you need.
The thing is, as we grow older, we evolve, man. And if you don't let go of certain shit, you'll never evolve into who you're supposed to be or who you are.
Shout out to Carl Pfeiffer. He said, yes, sir. Erica Ville said, Jamal Harrison Bryan about to grow weed at the church. I heard that. The judge didn't lie. Look at everything that's going on. The kid boys and girls are constantly stealing cars and just get off with a slap on the hand and go back home. So yes, certain things are garbage. It's a sewer. What the judge said. Shame on you niggas. Mama Jenkins said this motherfucker is decayed in areas and there's no solution to these everyday problems. This judge sees this shit every day. I've been in his courtroom and these motherfuckers got records longer than you are tall. Nobody is helping solve these problems as criminals. So the solution when we say let's bring the prison down to the city, and I see black people stand up and say we don't want that in our city. We don't want a youth prison. We used to have the craziest arguments with one of my co-hosts who felt like under no circumstances should black people ever be incarcerated. I remember when Jay used to be like, I don't care. I don't care what we do. We should not ever go. And I'm like, no, some motherfuckers need to be locked up. Some people need to be in jail. Right. So what was you finna say, Kamar?
I agree. No, I was agreeing with you.
So what is the solution? I'm really getting a little nervous because I want to say, what is the solutions? If
Right.
you know, if it's a sewer, what do we do? What's going on, Vince?
Hey, I want to speak on the youth detention centers and being in our community. And that's a concern, and it was a concern of ours in my district, is that we didn't want it. So if somebody doesn't want something in their community, as a community, it shouldn't be forced upon them. So the deal is that, and the reason being is the place on 32nd and Hampton. It's a youth detention center. And before they put it in, they didn't tell me that they were going to do it because they knew that I was going to oppose it with our block watch. And I went to the meeting, and at the bill that David Bowen sponsored, Lena Taylor, and this was an initiative from Scott Walker to do this. And what they've done is they made a deal with the bishop. They got him in his building. It's $3.6 million a year to house 24 kids. The problem is that it's right next door to an apartment. They didn't tell the people in the apartment, all of them, what they were doing. And secondly, the door is not locked. The kids can go and come as they please. And I'll give you a perfect example. I have a kid that was 10 years old last summer, got in a bunch of shit with his mother and got kicked out of school, got expelled to school, smoking dope, taking gummies to school. His mother finally got him put in that facility. And it so happened, my mentee, he didn't care for me. I'm driving down Hampton Avenue, and I see this nigga walking down the street. I tell him to get in the car. He won't get in the car. Well, the next time that they saw him, he was at a relative's house in a stolen car, 10 years old. So that's what we don't. And if there's an element of criminality that's in the community that's going to try to recruit boys in the neighborhood. So yeah, you can put it in Milwaukee, but put it in the right place. That's
Now,
all
hold
that
on.
we're trying to say.
I got two things for that, Vince. Number one, this facility they're talking about is not a unsecured facility. This is a secured facility. That's one. Hold on. That's one that they're talking about bringing. Number two, my big question would be to the people in the neighborhood who would say, we don't want this, we don't want that. Then I would say to them, then what do you want? What's your solution then? Okay, we don't.
The solution is, Kev, is put it someplace where everybody in the city is agreeable. And when they take it out there and take it out way out in white folks' land, they don't take it in their housing area. We got land all over the city of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, that these kids can be, these facilities can be placed. I think Ethan Allen is still operational. They can use that. So, it's a situation to me where now they're spending more money. They get these developers in here. They don't have to do all of this for 24 kids. And we're talking at the most 30 or 40 kids. But if they're planning for Milwaukee to get worse, then we have to build, and they have more ground to outbuild this thing so we can have this prison pipeline system, then that's what they're doing. So we have to look at it from all different angles of what they are actually trying to do in our community and how are we going to combat it. So do we start looking at the school system? How do we, get these kids more prepared for the school system and educate them? And these homes, so in Milwaukee, what we're suffering from, and we're seeing the bulk of 4 to 5 decades of teenage pregnancy. So you're not going to turn this shit off anytime soon until you start having adults having kids.
Hold on. I don't know if a lot of people know this, but the county jail is in downtown Milwaukee. There's residents not far from it. They have MMSD. There's already prisons in the community. So I don't. So right, that's what I'm saying. There's a difference between a secure.
There's also some prisons. There are also some adult prisons in the community without.
If the people downtown, that was built, so the infrastructure was built around that, so that stuff was already built.
Okay.
Downtown was already built, so the courthouse and everything else, they just started putting all these apartments and all these townhouses and stuff down there. But now you're just gonna throw it in
on Fond du Lac, there's a facility on where right on the 5 Points, there's a facility now. And these are HOC facilities where prisoners go through every day. I get what you're saying, but I'm saying there's a big difference in what they're talking about with this facility and the one that they put in your neighborhood. That's more of a halfway house.
Yeah, exactly. But my point is, Kevin, is that first of all, they made a decision without a sitting alder person and without talking to the people. So are we going to continue to allow the government to come in and shit on people? No, if people say that we don't want it, it's supposed to be for the people. If people say that we don't want this shit, then find some place to put it. We're not saying that you can put it in. Somebody else might want it right in the middle of their block. That's fine.
I
But
don't
find that
think
place.
you'll ever find a place where everybody agreed. I think it would always be like two people say, I don't want that shit there. Like I just feel like that's the nature of the beast. But also too, you said something else that I thought was critical. How do we feel about the school to prison pipeline? Because with all the things that's going on, we've said on this show, some people need to go to prison. So is the
Hey,
school to prison pipeline justified with what's going on?
can I say something? Like
Yeah.
I think I agree with both sides. I agree with everything Vince saying, but you know what I mean? It's a perspective here. You know what I mean? There's two perspectives to it. Because you got one side where it's like you got people that want their loved ones closer so they can visit them when they get locked up. You know what I mean? I think we also have more opportunity to try to create some programs for some of the prisons or jails that's in our community, especially the youth. You know what I mean? We got adult prisons. We got adult prisons in the city of Milwaukee with no locked doors also. And I think adult criminals are more dangerous than the kids. But you know what I mean? They all fucked up. I ain't saying one is worse than the other, really, but
Yeah, crime is crime.
could be. But I see both sides, is what I'm saying.
Right.
You know what I mean? It could be a perspective thing.
John Fletcher said we need a youth facility. I agree. Erica Ville said we need to start a revolution, war. Everyone has to go home back to their country.
And not only that, man, you know, we ain't sending them, but our kids are going to prison, man, and they like way the fuck up north, dog, where they nothing but racist motherfuckers, shitting on them, clowning them, treating them like shit. And you know what I mean? They getting out back in our community and they madder. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
like,
they're also thriving economically because of their jobs in the prison. So if somebody gonna make money off of it, at least let it be us.
And that's another thing. We also helping their communities thrive by putting in their communities.
Fucking Marquette. Shit.
It go both ways. It definitely go both ways.
She said we need to start a revolution. Everybody has to go back to their country. We are in our country. This is our
we don't
country.
have a country.
This is our country.
The earth is ours. What are you talking about? The earth is ours.
You said we need to start a revolution. I got to go to work tomorrow. I don't really want y'all to start the revolution tonight. I got some things I'm trying to buy.
The revolution is economic. We need to understand.
There we go. Shout out to Joe Walker. He said homeowners need to get armed and start shooting these motherfuckers. Tell Madison to change the laws where you can protect your house, property, and vehicle with deadly force. I think that's common sense. It's called being armed and standing your ground. That's the only way it will go away because your mayor thinks he's Barack Obama. Half his family are criminals. They ain't gonna do nothing but just keep stealing money. Damn, he just went at the mayor. Half his family is criminals. Holy shit. He do got a brother in a lot of trouble. Mama Jenkins said we need the prisons just to make sure that the people that look like us get these jobs and not these cowboys from the rural areas. Some of these badass kids need to be locked the fuck up and took out the damn community because those bastards are dangerous as hell. Nobody puts it like Mama Jenkins. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. Mama Jenkins tell it like a TI is. Erica Ville said these kids are a byproduct of Good Start, Infamil, and Similac. They are different. Damn, my chat room is on fire tonight. I'm loving it. I'm loving the comments. She said, send the racists home. Who we talking about? Who's the racist? Oh, send the racist people back to where they came from. Well, they should leave voluntarily. I just think it's funny when they always say, go back to Africa. I'd be like, why? I'm not from there. You go back to Germany. And then you say your people from Germany, motherfucker, go back to Germany. She said, lock these. Mama Jenkins said, lock the parents up. See, here we go. When we start talking about these solutions, so shout out to Vince Tony, who, by the way, is still running in the first district. If you're living in the first district, Vince is still, as a write-in candidate, you can still write him in. Yeah, she said that's his half brother that's in trouble. That's the mayor's half brother, right? This is my half brother. That ain't my whole brother, right? But the judge gave it to, I think he let it loose. And I think it's funny, a couple years back when the new owners of the Bucks came, and I forget which one it was. He came out here and he said, like, I've never seen this shit before. This is the worst goddamn, this city is horrible for people of color. This is a racist ass place. And then Malcolm Brogdon said it, who at the time was an up and coming player for the Bucks. They shipped his ass out with the gypsiness. He on like his 17 right now. I'm like, damn, who we play for now? So these things have been said, but it's one of those things where when it comes down to who said it, this is a white judge who's mad, who's dealing with this every day in his courtroom, saying, God damn, enough is enough. Y'all got to stop doing this to these people, man. And when he says to that young man, I'm sorry that this is what your community gave you. This is how they had it set up. It was almost like, once again, I hear what you say, but I know what you mean. It was like he was talking to black people. I just feel like he was saying, I feel sorry for you that the black community is so shitty, right? Like, and don't get me wrong, it doesn't make him racist if he says that, right? It doesn't. It doesn't make him racist. I feel like most white people would have that summation if they said, wow, their community is so bad. I don't know how those kids even are supposed to make it out. I don't think that makes you a bigot. What I think is no shit, Sherlock, right? If you tired of it, imagine how the fuck we feel in my Bernie Mac voice. You think you tired of it, motherfucker? How you think we feel? I will bust an impression on your ass in a minute sometimes, but I tell you. Crystal Ship, my sister, a long time no see. She said Control C in the building. Yes, absolutely.
For cheesy.
Control C's blowing up, right? Every Kamar's has got the Midas touch. Y'all got the Midas touch. Everything y'all touch turn to gold.
Man, I'm a winner.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. Ain't nothing wrong with that. It's good to be a winner.
Fuck what they told you about me. I'm a motherfucking winner, dog. All I do is win.
There we go. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Like, I don't know how to think any other way. I don't know how to ride around being focused on what I can't do. Like, that's what I'm saying. I see all of this shit going on in the city, and I know it's bad. But I'm of the mind state that I'm not going to accept that my people can't achieve, or that me as a man, I can't survive, or something that I can't do. If it's something I can't do, the only thing I'm looking at is, how am I involved in this? What am I doing to prevent myself from having what I want? Not what somebody else is doing, right?
Right.
I ain't looking for.
First off, you need to get yourself around people who doing shit.
There you go.
You know what I mean? Hey, I got a few friends, man, that started businesses during COVID, and they got brick and mortars now.
There we go. From the rooter to the tutor. Shout out to my cousin.
Wow. You know what I'm saying? Nigga, this shit is real. You know what I mean? Our people are doing great things out here. Like I said, it's about who you with, what type of places you putting yourself around. You know what I'm saying? Or putting yourself in.
Tiasha said, stop letting people from Chi-Town, Detroit, and Indiana come here unless we see if they're troublemakers there. I don't think you can limit people's movement, because those people are running from the same shit. This is why when I see black people saying, I'm leaving here, right? But when I watch national news, I see the same things happening in now. Once again, I don't want people to think, Kev, you cannot possibly not understand that there are places where there's more black mobility. There's more upward mobility for black folks, and we have a higher position in terms of our economic status in this community. I understand that. But with Kamar's kind of thing, and my thing is, well, it ain't the norm for a black person to be in this situation up here, so I'm willing to be that person that is. I'm the exception to the rule, right? I'm not living under the belief that I can't do something. So
watch me.
So I don't believe it what city. I don't believe it's what city you come from. Crystal Ship said in that order. She's talking about Kamar. She said we winning. Control C started in the middle of the pandemic. That's all I'm talking about, man.
You know what I'm talking about?
I can give you the business. I can give you the flip of this whole thing because my show actually started way before the pandemic, and I know how things were done during those days in terms of even talking to people who had businesses, the kinds of businesses that were in the community. To after the pandemic, where like my brother says, there's restaurants, bars, apothecaries, there's all kinds of things that you didn't even know 4 years ago. You can start a business doing that, a whole
Right.
business, right?
Right.
So
They in buildings now.
that's what I'm talking about. And people got products in stores.
Yeah.
People got products in stores, man. So, there's a lot going on.
Since
So,
the pandemic.
right. So when we come out and we hear about, it was fourth worst place to live for black people, that would make you think, damn, all the niggas up there must be down and out. Absolutely not true. I'm driving through the community. I'm seeing brothers and sisters, and I know they ain't all drug dealers. Benzes, Infinities, Lax, got nice homes, got nice trucks. I'm sitting there watching, saying, I was just at a dealership, and that motherfucker costs $85,000 that he or she is driving. Even if they leasing it, they getting it from somewhere. And this ain't all dope illegal money. This ain't so. All of us here are not downtrodden. All the black people here ain't, oh Lord, what we gonna do? We can't feed, can't pay. Nah, it's a bunch of us getting money up here. The problem is we have yet to realize how to pool our resources collectively. Yes, there's pockets. Yes, there's silos, but it ain't working like it should right now. Or we could look. It would only take some sort of investment, a black investment group, to start really here and start doing the same thing that Barada's doing or other real estate people are doing. We'll take our money, start an investment group, and start buying up shit. We'll bring franchises here. We'll bring, all this kind. That's all it takes, man. Let's put our money together and get a Chick-fil-A or some whatever. Chick-fil-A might be a bad example.
I feel like it's coming, man.
But like 2 or 3 of us who are having the bread. I think he said it best in Willie Dynamite when he said you got to collectivize. I don't know if you've ever seen Willie Dynamite, but I love Liberty Bell. He's one of my favorites.
Hey, it's happening, man. You know what I mean? Like we learning new shit and we doing new shit.
Yeah. He said, Willie, you got to have vision. That's my movie. No, man, Kamar, you right. There's some people who doing things.
If it is a sewer, we cleaning it up.
Crystal Ship said, my story ain't the same. Milwaukee has blessed me. That's what's up. She said 300 people put in $150 a month in 1 year. That's a $500,000. I don't know if I can go into business with 300 people though. I mean, if it was just, 10, 15, 20 of us, and we all committed to building this and investing in it on a regular basis and building up a fund, a slush fund, if you will, and say, okay, we got this money stacked and managed, y'all. We got it in interest-bearing accounts, and we've gotten some investments here that are paying. We now have a corporation. Let's invest some of the money. Let's make it do what it do. Dennis Torres said, I was born and raised on 2nd North Avenue. I'm not letting anyone move out my neighborhood. He said, I'm winning big time. I love my neighborhood, period. God bless you if you was born on 2nd and North Avenue. Good Lord. Have a good day. Mama Jenkins said this bullshit is everywhere in the South. There's shootings in Jackson, Memphis, and Atlanta, murders daily. There's lots of people with money here. Look at these churches on Sunday. Yes. Absolutely. She said, Chantel Gwen, shout out to Chantel Gwen. She said, learning and growing love 414. I was just giving that as an example, Crystal Ship said. Let me see. I want to make sure I read these right. Vince Tony said, bottom line is economics. We don't own much. We don't want to work to earn to be able to create our own. Every culture has set up shop in our community, sapping up welfare monies out into their community. February was the last month for that extra COVID money. It was as much as $200. But see, okay, so what prevents? What would be the right word here? Would it be cooperative economics? Would it be collective economics? What prevents us from really saying, hey, let's get together and make this happen? Maybe I'm just not in touch with the people who are doing it. I don't want to be boule, though. I think that's where the line is drawn.
First.
Well, I don't have any interest in becoming black boule either. And I feel like that right there is some of the gatekeepers and the people who are having money here a lot of times make it so that they keep winning, right? So they don't want you to be able to bubble up. So they won't share resources with you. They'll only share it with, friends and family. I have long thought of, what if you
Fine.
just had a
Hey,
place in the
yeah,
community that
it's
all
a
they
whole
did
world.
was hand out opportunities to people. Come in this office, look on that board, there's an opportunity, we're gonna point you in the right direction. I feel like it needs to be a place like that in the community. People say that's the Chamber of Commerce, the Black Chamber of Commerce. I don't know. Kamar, you've been in there. What are they doing?
They dope, man. They doing a lot of different shit, man. They got what, like I said, they still doing the different pitch contests. They helping Black businesses get off the ground. They got business boot camps for you to get into and learn your shit, get your shit together. The building that I told you about, about the brother that's got the construction company, the big, he got brothers, young brothers, he teaching them construction.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And actually got them doing work. He teaching them and giving them jobs. You know what I'm saying? So the Chamber of Commerce is really, I see them busting moves out here. Not only that, man, they awarded me $3,000.
I remember. And you got the big ass check in the background, don't you?
Yeah, there it go. You know what I'm talking about? There it go. You know what I'm saying? But I think what it takes, though, man, really it take a group. It's gonna take a group of brothers that know each other and trust each other to begin it, to start it. You know what I mean? And then from that point, man, you promote. I would guess you promote what you're doing to certain people. Everybody can't be in at first. You know what I mean? Only selected people, I would think, would only be able to do it.
Crystal Ship said,
but you know what that's doing though, Kev? That's my bag, but that's also like creating a bank. You know what I mean? Our own type of bank.
Well, I'm talking about, see, when I say investment group, I'm talking about something a little bit different. Not a bank. I'm saying,
right. Well, I'm saying it could act as such. You know what I mean? You talk about different businesses that need funding out here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If we pooling money together, yeah, you know what I mean? Why can't the businesses that we pulling money together, everybody in the demonstration, everybody getting an opportunity to get funding from that thing that we feed? You dig what I'm saying? I can see how that could work, man. It just takes some people who cool. Or
well,
however.
People say we already got Columbia Savings and Loan. They said we got Columbia Savings and Loan. We have.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm saying it. I ain't saying call it a bank or whatever. I'm just saying it can act as such, so we can help each other. Is all I'm saying. We pulling money together so we can help each other.
She says, brothers, infrastructure, group construction. Okay. Mama Jim said, stupidity is the word. We just don't think, and we want to do better. You gotta want better, she says. Vince Tony said, that's what's wrong with Milwaukee. The Boule groups, right? Crystal Ship said we had 15 students complete the construction program, and the Brothers Infrastructure Group Construction hired 6 of the students that tested proficient. That's what's up. She said they completed the program. You had 6 out of the 15. Okay, that's what's up, Crystal. What you say, Kamar?
No, I was just saying, you know what I mean? The Boule groups is the reason why we need to do something like that. So we can raise the fund in our damn self.
Yeah.
And find our own resources. It's a whole world out here, man. We got to stop being so closed-minded thinking that it's motherfuckers that can stop us, man. Can't nobody stop us.
Well, we stop ourselves.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. We got to get out of that mind frame. That's my whole point.
Hey, you got it.
And we stop ourselves by telling ourselves that it's a glass, it's a ceiling.
Kamar.
That's how we stopping ourselves in the first place in the conversation.
We forgetting one thing though, Kamar.
I ain't forgetting
the
nothing.
most. No, you did. The most dangerous enemy, the most dangerous adversary that you have is yourself. That is the most manipulative, most domineering, most enabling, most
I might
jealous,
as well just get a job and work at 9 to 5.
Enemy that you have. It's yourself.
Yeah.
That's
why I bet on myself before I bet on anybody else.
That's why so many things don't happen, because people,
we got the wrong mindset.
Are their own worst enemy. They're their own worst enemy. It's all in. We've said how many times? It's all in your decisions. It's all in your mannerism. It's all in your demeanor. You are the one. You want to blame everybody. And I feel like this is Black Milwaukee. If they say if Black Milwaukee was a person, it would be that dude who blames everybody else for his problems. That's who Milwaukee is as a city. And I think that's a better way to put it than call it a sewer, right? But that's me with my vernacular precision. But I just feel like we as a people, a lot of us, a great deal of us, not all of us, but a great deal of us don't realize that you are your own worst enemy, because ultimately you hit the buttons, you pull the switches on the decisions. So when you end up in court or in a situation, you say, damn, how could I have avoided this? Usually you look back and you come up, if you're honest, you'll come up with something that says, I should have never fill in the blank, right? I should have never. That's what started all this shit. So I think we got to start saying your biggest, people say, where are my haters at? Well, you looking in the mirror at your biggest hater most of the time because you don't love yourself. So you don't expect better. You don't aspire to be better. As a matter of fact, you're not a problem systematically. You're a problem systemically. You've ingested it. It's a part of your being. It's in your blood. It's systemic. You sick with it. It's in the water, as they say. Crystal Ship, I'm sorry. Vince Tony said the stock market is the perfect example of cooperative. Nobody knows. Yeah, that's a whole foreign language for a lot of us, the stock market, because that we were never intended to be a part of that game, right? So since you want to keep us out of it, I'm with Kamar and saying, why don't we start our own?
That's it, man. But that's why I say this is tricky. You know what I mean? Because you can only start it with certain people, man, with a few people. The energy got to be right. It can't be motherfuckers talking about who got the money, who doing this. What, you know what I mean? I need to do this right quick. And it can't be motherfuckers like that, man. The energy got to be right.
I think Marcus Garvey tried this with the United Negro Improvement Association. And I think that was his whole thing is, well, you know what? Since they want to treat us this way, why don't we just pool our money and do for us?
Yeah.
Right now, we know that, J. Edgar Hoover and a lot of his cohorts planted a lot of, moles inside the organization, and ultimately it failed. But, when you start to, historically, if you understand what happens, that's why I pause now a lot. Even during Black History Month, I pause when I heard certain historical Negroes' names thrown around. And I think about what really happened in terms of who made sure intellectual Black people didn't connect with Marcus Garvey, right? Because all of those great business minds and all of those great lawyers and all those people who could have really benefited him to get in his organization and say, brother, this is a good idea. Let's do it by the book. Obviously, he had some people that weren't part of the boule running his organization. That's why they brought it down. So they got a hold of all of those intellectual people said, no, don't deal with that Garvey dude. He's crazy. You want to go with this NAACP. You want to go with W.E.B. Du Bois. Go vote. Become a Democrat. Come on, be a good Negro.
Hey, you know what I think we need to learn from the past?
What's that?
When or if anybody ever do that shit, shut the fuck up and just do it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? We don't need no finger pointing at who doing what. You know what I'm saying? We don't need none of that. We just getting this money together.
Yeah, but you better know what happened before. You destined to fall right into the same
That's
shit.
why I say just shut the fuck up about what we own. Just do it.
Well, I think if you're going to explain why we're doing it the way we're doing it, sometimes you have to reference what's happened in the past and the people that were involved.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that. We learning off the past, though. Like, we do that, but then now the next step is, niggas, shut the fuck up.
Well, I would say don't let it be.
You ain't going to put this shit on blast, so they ain't going to know who to target.
I would say don't let it be your crutch. Damn sure agree with you on that. Don't keep referencing what happened as an excuse as to why you ain't doing what you should be doing today.
You reference what happened so you can figure out a solution as to what to do next. So that shit don't happen no more.
Crystal Ship says stop focusing on the ones that aren't ready to elevate or collaborate. Instead, focus on the ones that do. That's a cold, hard reality when they say the game ain't it's hard, but it's fair. And sometimes you got it. Some people may fall by the wayside. I think when I'm talking about Marcus Garvey, I think he even said, some of us ain't no good over here, so we wouldn't be no good in Africa. They ain't gonna be able to get on the boat. I wonder if I say that all the time. That's like my favorite quote from him. I hope he really said it. I'm gonna have to go and research to make sure he really said it. Because I've heard some people say he never did that. But it makes sense though, right? Some of y'all ain't even be on the boat, man. Y'all can fuck something up. Vince Tony said you have to have a product, a service, a commodity to invest in first to have a marker. There's a glass ceiling in the black community now too. Whoo, the glass ceiling.
Come on, man. Come on, man.
When we
we unstoppable. We are the universe. Ain't nothing greater than that.
To a certain extent.
We are. We made out of the same shit as everything else.
Yeah, but we know legally there are ways they can shut us down, especially if you're coming up and you're a threat to some of their profits. There are ways that they can legally come through and slam the lead on you. You just have to figure out how to maneuver around it. So Vince, what I would say to you is, where is that ceiling at? And we need to start figuring out how we're gonna
stop when we figure. So what we gonna do when we figure we get to that point? Stop.
That's what I just said. We need to figure out where it's at and then figure out a way to break through it.
That's it, man. Shut the fuck up. You see what I'm saying? That's what I said. The next step is for us to shut the fuck up about what we finna do.
I think the way you putting it is what's causing the contention to say shut the fuck up to anybody. First of all, that's like one of the most
I wouldn't tell nobody to shut the fuck up. I'm just phrasing it like that. But what I'm saying is just be quiet. Let's stop talking about everything that we finna do. Let's quit talking about who the leader of this and who the leader of that. They won't know who to get at. They won't know how to pinpoint it if we just shut the fuck up.
Yeah, good luck with that. As long as it's social media, somebody's picture gonna be somewhere.
Right.
This nigga right here.
I get it. I'm just saying.
Everybody put your phone in the bag. Then they got cameras in the street lights now and shit. You notice that, right? Have y'all noticed that? I don't know if people are really noticing that there's cameras in the street lights now and on various buildings. So when you do something wild in the community, you be shocked when they be like, how the fuck they get that film? There's cameras in the street lights and shit now. Just know that you're being watched. And some people say rightfully so.
I'm cool. Hey, I'm cool with the cameras.
Right. I ain't doing nothing.
You know what I'm saying? You get your lifestyle right.
Crystal Ship said we are indomitable. We are incredible people, but I don't want to get to the point where because I know there's some black people who have done business, who have gone up against the powers that be, and they will come back and say, I hear you on all that we this and we that shit, but they got a way that they will shut your ass down just from simply being minority owned. We have to remember there's still a lot of old money in America. And so those people, because you look at the average age of the judges and the senators and the congressmen and the CEOs of all these companies.
If they letting black folks make
a lot of them are 60, 70 years old. So that's old money. They're not going systematically. There's still some controls, some mechanisms for them to say, hold on.
I get it, man. But if they letting black people be billionaires, man, we gonna be all right.
She said, Crystal Ship said, ain't nobody shutting me down. Okay, that's a great way to feel.
Hey, again, if they letting black people be billionaires, we gonna be all right.
They let certain black people be billionaires. They let certain ones be billionaires. Certain ones, right? They let certain ones be billionaires. And we all know that sometimes, all money ain't good money. And I keep saying behind every great fortune is a great crime. And behind every great crime is a white dude somewhere. I don't fuck what stage is at. It's a little white dude who started the shit. Mama Jenkins says we just need to learn about demand and supply.
I want somebody to tell me what crime is behind it.
She said we just need to learn about demand and supply economics. Okay, Mama Jenkins. What did you say, Kamar?
No, I said, man, listen, I'm gonna make a fortune off this tea. You know what I mean? And ain't no crime behind it.
Well,
again, it depends on who, black people are billionaires or even close to it.
It depends on who harvests the tea. It depends on who harvests your ingredients. I don't know where you get your ingredients from.
I know some black millionaires. Well,
Right.
I know I get my sea moss from some black people in Jamaica.
Okay, so once again, I don't know. I would have to know all the details about your whole supply chain. It could be something as simple as Kamar.
Come on, man.
Well, the bottles that he used to sell his this was made in a sweatshop in Guatemala. Like there's a crime somewhere.
You trying too hard, man.
No, there's a great crime somewhere.
You trying too hard, man. It ain't that serious.
Some
it ain't no crime. I bought bottles from a company. They in trouble.
Don in Jamaica, and he's busting heads to make sure that sea moss gets shipped out. I don't know. There's a crime somewhere.
It ain't on me.
Well, not you. I didn't say. I said behind. If you look, sooner or later, if you go down the chain, there's a crime somewhere.
I'll find another sea moss dealer.
Hey, it might all be crooked. It might all be crooked.
You trying too hard, kid. You trying too hard.
I don't think so. Vince said those are facts. Listen. Once again, unless you totally understand,
of course, Vince don't agree with you.
With what you call it, import and export. There's a lot of shit that goes on that you don't even know about.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know. So I don't rule nothing out. You the one who always telling me don't rule nothing out.
So I'm just saying though, I didn't do it.
There's still a crime there though.
I didn't do it. I ain't in trouble.
There's a crime behind this shirt I got on my back because somewhere somebody in some factory got mistreated as fuck to make it, right? And I bought it, and so I'm just the recipient of it.
It was made from some cotton that was sitting way in the back of a warehouse from back in some slavery or something.
You never know. You never know, Kamar. You never know.
Man, stop it, man.
The very chemicals that they use to put the color in the shirt, that factory does waste somewhere, and it got in somebody's drinking water. Like so there's cancer. The trucks that they use to deliver it polluted the environment, and some kids got sick because of it, man. I'm trying to tell you. Progress is painful. And that's simple though. Come on, any progress is painful. When we want to have a country, we want to move west. What had to happen for them to move west? They had to kick some people off some land. We've been living here for 400 years. Well, get your ass out of here because we building a train station. That was progress, right? Progress is painful. I'm just saying, man. I'm not saying Nature's Nature Herb is a criminal empire. Kamar is a holistic terrorist and shit. Like I'm not saying that. Like
by any means necessary, I'm gonna get the community right.
Right. See, and somebody getting your way. You got people out here whooping ass, taking their sea moss off the shelves. There's a crime involved. See?
Something like shit. Robin Hood.
Man, stealing from the non-holistic or giving to the holistic, right? I don't know. How would you say that shit? I don't know. It's International Women's Day. Happy International Women's Day to all the sisters that listen to the show. Man, you have to love women, you know. And as a man, you still should feel a sense of you want women to be safe. You want to protect them. I don't like to see women get beat up. Right. I don't like to see two women fighting on the internet shit in one of them girl fights. The only one that I think is funny is the really big girl fighting the three little girls, and they give her the Hulk voice, and she's like, Hulk smash, Hulk angry, and she like literally flinging the little girls around. I'd be laughing at that shit. I'd be
saying that for real.
Man, yeah. You ain't never seen that meme on Facebook with the big girl and they put the Hulk voice over her fighting the three little girls. She be tossing them and she be like, Hulk smash, Hulk angry. She said Hulk no like fighting girls. It's hilarious, man. It's hilarious. Ben says I was a purchasing manager for major corporations. I had to make sure the products and services were legitimate and did not come from certain countries. Supply and demand economics. Amir Zakir says, peace, gods. How you doing, my brother? Welcome to Outlaw Radio, Out of Order, on a Wednesday night, Hump Day edition. We call it Out of Order because the city is out of order, apparently, because Judge Borowski labeled it a sewer. Milwaukee's a sewer. I feel sorry for your mother, right? Minister society shit, right? I feel sorry you come from that filthy, nasty-ass ghetto and that horrible black community. I'm making all kinds of trouble. I don't think that was his intention, but that's what he said. I heard what you said. I know what you mean. And I happen to agree that it is a shame that our kids have to grow up in certain situations and circumstances. My son goes to Milwaukee Lutheran High School, and it's such a dichotomy of people who like say, okay, well, I'm gonna pay. If I have to, I'll pay for my child to go to school because I don't qualify for any vouchers or any things of that nature. And so I actually have to pay tuition. Now, there are a lot of choice kids, choice program kids who parents don't have to pay. They can go there free. And this has been since the majority of the school population has become our kids, so much drama. From Kia boys riding on the grass and under the vest on the sidewalk to people up in the school with masks and weapons and fights at football games and all this kind of stuff. This school, Lily White forever sat out here. You never heard a peep from it for years. And then now it's majority black, and you start to see kids getting kicked out just for any and everything. And my son comes home daily and says, man, my guy got kicked out today. Or man, this girl I used to talk to these girls got to fighting pop. And they kicks you out. Like they don't fuck around. They don't be you suspended. No, your ass is expelled. You out. But I know the environments that some of these kids is coming from. Yeah, I'm in the morning. It's like the fashion show where everybody coming in they rides, his Benzes, Beamers, Jags. People come through in they fancy schmancies and drop off their kids. I'm doing well. I'm a Huxtable. But then there be some kids walking, taking that long walk from 91st down to the school. Some kids who getting off the yellow bus. So it is unfortunate that our community is really, really counterproductive. But I would also say to these kids, shame on y'all too, because adversity. I had a football coach who used to say, Barnes, don't you know blood make the grass grow? And I used to be like, what is he talking about? He would say, blood make the grass grow, man. You ain't living until you face adversity. You ain't excelling until you get challenged. He said, you don't walk around with your maximum amount of adrenaline and your abilities flailing until you get pressed. He was like, if we went to a football game and nobody ever tried to block you, you would have the worst game in your life. You get jacked up because it's on and popping. You got two dudes trying to knock your head off, and so you want to outdo them. So pretty soon you at your best. You're unstoppable. Mm-hmm. So blood makes the grass grow, right? And I said, damn, never thought about it like that, coach.
You know what you made of.
Right. You ain't. My father would second that and say, well, pain, people, think you should never have pain. He used to say, how would you know you was alive if you never had pain? Because part of feeling is recovering from pain, to say, woo, I'm so glad. I know what it's like to be messed up. I'm so glad that I'm not, or I'm so glad that I got over that. So you don't know if you're living until you have a little. So I say to these kids, what y'all want to do about it? Don't y'all see? Because I think we keep talking to each other as adults. Nobody's talking to the kids to say, what do y'all want? What if we could have just really one big youth summit, and let's invite some of these rappers. Let's invite some of these youngsters down at the lakefront in the summer. We're going to have a youth empowerment music festival.
Shit, man, we got to pool this money together.
While they have these shows, let's have classes all day. Let's have booths set up where they can sign up for career opportunities, all this kind of stuff. And let's get them together and say, what do y'all want to stop the bullshit? Because we need for y'all to want to do something. I feel like a lot of our youngsters have given up. I think they say this shit's out of order. Shit's broke down. It's no use on me trying. So that's one of my ideas. I cut you off, Kamar. What'd you say?
No, I was just saying, man, that's one of the reasons why we got to pool this money together so we can do shit like that, man. We can't expect entertainers to take time out of their schedule while they working to feed their families and make sure their families living their best. I mean, we just got to get some money together, man. As for the politicians, I'll say we got to figure out a way to get some money together so the politicians don't have to listen to what the other people have to want them to do, what the lobbyists want or whatever.
You're right, Kamar. For me, the entertainment is just a draw. Because I don't.
The cost, the entertainment cost. That's
right. But the facilities and the venue and the entertainers, yeah. But I think because my mama said you get more flies with honey than you do vinegar. So I would think like, okay, let's draw them in. What do they want? They want to kick it. They want to go to a music festival,
Right. Yeah.
you
I'm
know?
with you
And
on
so
that.
once we get them there, collectively, it's just every time they look around when they ain't at a concert, it's something saying, what you want to do with your life?
Right.
What do you want to do? You got to tell me before you get out here and say nobody cared, nobody supported me. We're giving you an opportunity right now, and we're asking you, what do you want? Because maybe we're just not listening at them well enough, I guess is what I'm saying.
We gotta give them shit to do, man. We gotta give you shit to do. When I was
Okay.
growing up, man, you know, they had AFY football, athletes for youth. They had AFY basketball where we played other teams in the city. It gave us shit to do during different times of the year. You know what I'm saying? Like we need that type of shit again, man. I don't see too many things like that. It's a few, but not many.
It's a few because now you got a lot of sports leagues now, but a lot of times in these sports leagues you got to pay, and if you don't have the money, you know what I
Right.
mean? Like so I know like with AAU basketball, if your son ain't on the right team, you got to pay. I paid hundreds of dollars for years until my son got on a team that was free. And he got all the shit on this team and more now because it's a sponsored team, but it's like levels. So the best kids are going to be on the free teams, and the kids, if parents ain't got money, just you got to pay $750 fee, and then you got to go on the road and travel.
What I'm saying. That shit was free back then.
Yeah, it was. And they wasn't going all out of town like that. My son, he read his itinerary to me for traveling this summer. I said, really? I'm talking about 8, 9 different states. I'm like, dude, you going to states I ain't never even been to just for AAU basketball. MC Tone said they got all the racist figurines out that building. Okay, did they make them take them out? He said TR do carry your hoodie. She does not. Listen, when I say custom, I mean custom. That shit has to be made. Anybody who gets the apparel, understand I don't have a shipment from China coming in. It has to be made. We make them. So if you want a hoodie or a t-shirt or anything, you put in your order, then it gets made. My wife does a great job at doing them. It's one of the things she's very, very one of many things that she's very, very talented at. So she don't got it yet, MC Tone. Couple days she'll have it. We're a little bit more streamlined now. Mama Jenkins said he still gave that young man time. Society has people fucked up. Yeah, he gave him 25 years. He gave him 25 years, Mama Jenkins. She said not yet, but thank you very much. She does not have it yet because it ain't made yet. We got plantation jobs. We make apparel on the weekends, right? we both got plantation jobs. Amir Zakir said it's a system we've adopted from people who look at us as second class. We keep looking for a seat and we ain't invited to. Definitely need our own nation. He said this type of treatment and behavior is ingrained in the structure. I totally agree, my brother. That's why I said some of it's systemic and some of it's systematic. And that's why I say black people say, what role are we playing in this? Like I would love to talk to a group of young people and ask them that question. Because I've seen a lot of dudes do presentations with young people up here, from poetry to I don't want to call nobody out specifically. I've seen people do a lot of things with kids and youth and speak to them and tell them their story and tell them, you don't want to be like me, you want to end up like me. But very seldom do I hear these people say, what is it that you want to do? How much of your problems that you have right now are self-inflicted, right? And you said, well, my mama poor and we don't have much money. And so I'd be hungry sometimes. And you say, well, has your hustle light came on? Because you can go to a store and walk in the corner store or something, say, man, I need a job. If it's sweeping up, going to barbershop, it's a way to hustle. I know some cats who always had a hustle going when we was young. I mean, a paper route, everything. He always had a little hustle going. Like, man, I'm trying to get some money. So are you doing that, or are you sitting around saying, we so poor? Hey, I can't do nothing about it. Or are you out here saying, no, you know what? I see mama struggling. I'm about to go out here. I'm going to stay out of trouble. I ain't going to be no headache for her. No, because you got your own issues that you so selfish about. I ain't got no daddy. Oh, I feel so hurt. I'm traumatized. Some kids really are traumatized. I'm not discounting it, but I'm just saying I need for people to start asking the kids, what do you want to do? And don't tell me, I want to go to an NBA. No, I don't want you to say that. I don't want you to say that. I want you to tell me what you would like to do as a real job. I want to be an entrepreneur. Tell me, what does that mean? And I'm gonna explain to you what entrepreneurs have to do. This is why I would then bring a brother like Kamar out to say, well, my average day starts about 3 in the morning. I have to get up and do this, and that. Then I have to do this, and then I have to do that, and then I got to do all these different things, and then I got paid. Not I started making CMOS tea and I was paid the next day. I would need him to tell him, you want to be an entrepreneur? Let me tell you what an entrepreneur has to do. The dedication and the drive that it takes. You still want to do that? Okay, if you do, let's move forward. I think we need to have people like that as opposed to it be the same old two-step with a lot of these kids, man.
Hey, you know what I like to when I talk to them, man, I like to ask them, what are you passionate about?
Okay.
What do you love doing? Before I even ask them about being an entrepreneur or anything, you know what I mean? Because you got to know this first. Because if you don't love what you do, you ain't gonna be good at it. Your customer service ain't gonna be right. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna hate Mondays because you know what I'm saying. You're just gonna be time to get up and do what you got, and you're gonna hate it.
No attention to detail.
You know what I'm saying? So I like to find out. I ask them what they love first, and then I try to help them figure out how to monetize what they love.
Chantel Gwen says
I talk to them about lifestyle because lifestyle make a big difference. You know what I'm saying? Like you say, I got to get up early in the morning. I got to do this. I got to do that. So that also means I can't be up late night fucking around. If I am up late night, I got to be working. I need to be working or sleep.
Or you know if you're going to stay up late, if you're going to stay up late,
you know what I mean? You got a lot to learn. You got a lot to learn, but so I always tell them, just make sure it's something that you love, something you don't mind doing, something you don't feel like you're going to work to do. If your lifestyle is correct, you're going to be all right.
Chantel Gwen says somewhere safe to start. We need more youth centers, less liquor stores. Hold on. We need a liquor store every now and then. No, I'm just kidding. Youth centers are a good idea, but if it's not, I'm not just interested in giving you some place to play basketball or somewhere to play video games, right? Like it has to be purposeful and intentional in how it serves the kids. And with our kids nowadays, there has to be some real investment in structure. What Kamar just said was very critical and very crucial, because when you ask a kid, sometimes no one's ever asked them, what do you like to do?
Right.
Well, I like to do this. Well, no, I'm saying not like that, but I mean, like, do you like to use your hands? Do you like to build stuff? Do you like what do you like to do? You like to write? You like to draw? Those kinds of skills, not like what do you like to do in your leisure time? I love playing video games. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking. Or what part of the video games do you like? Is it the hand-eye coordination of it, or is it the way you can figure things out? Because 9 times out of 10, if you can figure out how to maneuver through a video game, you do have some critical thinking skills. How do you beat that boss on level 7? You got to figure out how to do it, right? What to use, what methodology, what plan. So there's a lot of skills that kids have, and sometimes they don't know about them, and you got to tell them. Mama Jenkins said, "What up, Rail?" MC Tone said he loved pimping. All right. MC Tone will be on the show next week, y'all. He'll be on the show next week. I met up with MC Tone because he wanted to purchase TR Arthur a hoodie, and so we had a great conversation. Cool brother, man. Real smooth brother. Real knowledgeable OG. Somebody else who should be able to speak to the youth, but I know how we are, because young people only value youth. They don't value wisdom. All they think about is how it look. They don't understand. Your ass gonna get old too, right? You don't always be a young strapping buck. You're gonna be an old war horse, and you're gonna have so much knowledge and information that you could give. Tiasha Arthur said they shouldn't have told these kids to call the police on their parents when they put them on punishment. So some parents started letting their kids go do whatever. I didn't. I went to my youngest son's school. He is now 27 years old, and told the principal to call the police on me because he will get an ass whooping when necessary. He will not tell me what he will do and won't do in my house. This is where the problem started. Parenting in the community. And see, I'm one thing I realized too on this journey and working with you brothers is one of the most profound experiences I've had, because it's forced me to see things from a perspective other than mine, right? Like, I can have my mind made up about some shit that we're going to talk about on the show, and I can come on here and pop it. and somebody will say something that's totally opposite of what I'm saying, but they're desiring the same kind of outcome, and you say, "Oh, well, shit, I never thought about it like that." So when I talk about parenting, it's easy for me to say what I did for my children because thank God my children are beautiful, beautiful young people who have always been good kids. And I say good, not meaning they never messed up or they've never gotten in any trouble, but they've been kids who haven't been so far uh pursuing things that, it's like, damn, why do you want that? Right? Like, so, but I wasn't a perfect parent because I'm not a perfect person. And so I'm over really saying you should have did what I did because everybody's not built with the same kind of thing that I had. Like I had old Southern parents who raised me the old school way. And I just added my own modernized touches to it. But I'm blessed in that regard. So sometimes you have to coach your coaches. You feel me? The coaches coach the kids. But if you the head coach, you got to coach the coaches. So sometimes we need to create more situations where these young parents can receive parenting classes that explain to them barriers, that explain to them parameters, that explain to them, okay, you are going to be this child's parent. You have to be careful of overcompensating. You as mama, he ain't got no daddy, don't overcompensate, right? You a man, you alpha male, as they say, which we already debunked the theory of the alpha male on the show, thanks to Rail. If you are just this domineering man, you got to be careful. You can't overdo it. You'll ruin the kids. We need to explain to people you are now about to be a parent. To young folks, let me explain to you what parenting is. Let me tell you about the average cost of living and do parenting classes for young kids because these babies having babies, according to a lot of people, are part of the problem. And instead of criticizing them, saying we need to lock them parents up. Listen. I worked for Wraparound Milwaukee, and I was a care coordinator for. They used to have the what's the program in Sherman Park that they used to have? You got caught skipping school. Uh, uh, tabs, truancy abatement and burglary suppression. Because their theory was when kids are out skipping school, burglaries up because they breaking in somebody's shit somewhere, right? So like this was a program Milwaukee ran for years where if you were truant in the city of Milwaukee, the police had assigned paddy wagons that would pick you up and bring you to the center where we contact your parent, hold you there for the rest of the day. You have to do some work and stuff, and then you were released in the evening. I was the care coordinator who came in there through wraparound in a pilot program that dealt with the extreme cases where this kid has been in tabs 30 times, right? They're at the point where now a parent, because legally, if you're a parent and your child is under 17, if they're not going to school every day, you can get a ticket. You will be ticketed as a parent. And so I used to have to go into these homes with these parents and figure out why he or she is not going to school and what we can do about it. And some of them were just mentally exhausted, just because you had your kids young, you didn't necessarily get the education or the understanding of how to hustle that you should have gotten, and now your life is one big ass struggle between your benefits and you working a shitty ass job and living off, these benefits, and then you live in a piss poor neighborhood and it's crime. You might have all kinds of issues. I'm talking about I done sat in meetings where the parents, I walk in and it ain't nothing but blunt roaches in the ashtray. I'm like, hey, y'all, we about to have a meeting with like his probation officer and child protective services. Y'all might want to clean this table off. Oh, we sorry, Mr. Barnes. We know you cool. Yeah, well, you ain't just meeting with me today. Not that I was smoking with him, but I just wouldn't trip. Because I walked in with it, I wasn't judging these people. I wasn't walking at you, say, you some bitch, you should be ashamed of yourself. When you start hearing their stories were super sad. Like the parents saying, like, my mama, I got beat growing up. I was in and out of foster homes. I never knew. And it'd be like, damn, why you have a baby? And who knocked you up? That was a different thing, though. I would say that after I got off work. I didn't want nobody to know that. Shame on me. Whose man's is this, right? You said physically abusing your child is not parenting. Thank you, Dion. You're right. You are right. It ain't all about whooping the ass. Mama Jenkins, old school, she said I beat mine ass in the cold room. I tore that ass up. My mama was a proponent of that as well. I'm gonna come up to the school and whoop your ass in front of everybody.
Yeah. Quick.
Man, I never got the at the school ass whooping though. My brother caught him though. I'm talking about he caught him about 4-5 times. I never caught it. MC Tone said I called the police on my mom's. She shot me when the cops left. He said he called the police on his mom and she shot him when the police left. He said I challenge every listener to purchase Outlaw Radio apparel. Let's support them like we support JL Marcus. I like that, MC Tone. I like that. Challenge every inbox care for some apparel. Everybody that's listening, even you sneak listeners. I know we got a lot of people that sneak listen. I see you. I see you out there. I see you out there. Tiasha Arthur said, same here, Kev. My dad was a lecturer and my mom was the ass whooper. My dad is from Alabama and my mom was from Louisiana. Plus, the neighbors was able to yell at the kids in the neighborhood, 36 in Townsend. Hey, oh, okay, you over there from my homeboys, June.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay. I'm talking about June. Kamar is sitting right here, right? Like that's your whole area too. I forgot Kamar. Shout out to y'all. Yeah, y'all had a little community over there that was similar, to where we was, but ours was a little different. Chocolate City over there, Capitol Drive, that whole Rufus King neighborhood. We had a strong community, literally where people, mama knew you. Like people, the old lady who lived across the street knew your mama when she was little, right? So you wasn't gonna dare disrespect her. And she'd tell your ass in a minute, you need to take your little ass home before I call your mama little boy. And you left. You said, fuck you and run home. You
little badass boy.
Right. You was a badass little boy. You just like your daddy was. He was terrible.
Make me sick.
Go home and tell, and he'd be like, "Yeah, man, Miss Jones always been on my ass. That was my mama friend." Like we had.
You better stay out that lady yard.
Right. Be over there messing with that old lady, boy. You know better than that. She be hollering at us for nothing. Well, stay out her goddamn yard. Y'all keep stealing fruit out of her tree because that's usually what we own. Everybody had a fruit tree, so we trying to get some plums, man. She ain't gonna do nothing with them, right? Them was her plums. But yeah, I was blessed, so I can't. I have to kind of loosen advice on how I criticize some of these young parents. But some of them deserve the criticism because some of them know that's some bullshit. You are, and they don't lose. When you become a parent, you lose an element of selfishness. You should, right? Like once I became a parent, I fully committed to the fact that if my kids actually needed something, I would do for them before I do for myself, right? Really being willing to say, if I had one little piece of meat left and it came down to who eats, you or the kids, I'm gonna give it to my kids and be like, I'll find me a way. Y'all go ahead and take this. I'm gonna go out here. I'm gonna figure something out. And if you don't have that kind of thing, so that makes you be demanding of your child. I'm more demanding on my son because I'm like, listen, I know what you up against, right? And I will do anything to help you avoid some of the shit that I went through. So I'm willing to make that sacrifice. A lot of us just don't have that. They don't get that lesson. And if you have kids when you're too young, you don't know that anyways, right? You still immature. You ain't learned how to do that. I was 26 when my daughter was born. So I was old enough. I was still young, but I was old enough to understand, hey man, it's a whole grown man situation. And I still made mistakes. She said, I grew up down the street from Keith Terry and Byron Terry. Byron Terry, Keith Terry. Shout out to the Terry family. Their father Mr. Terry turned 80 years old this weekend. They had a big family event, man. Shout out to him. God bless him, man. God bless the Terry family, Miss Terry and Mr. Terry. Tiasha, you'll be flying a few days with your hoodie. She will. She will. She gonna get that hoodie. I promise you. Listen. So the fallout from the Chris Rock thing is still popping. Now I do comedy, y'all. I had to turn tail and give this some more attention because I live in the podverse, and I didn't think the reactions to it would be what they are, right? Like I really didn't think it would be, people would be as polarized by this as they are. Now I watched Marlon Wayans, who did a comedy special on HBO. I've never really been a fan of Marlon Wayans' stand-up comedy. He's been funny in a couple movies, but his brand of comedy was always a little too goofy for me, right? But his whole show was about Chris Rock and Will Smith. An hour and a half, I'm telling you. And so this is now, there's Chris Rock disrespected black women. because he called Jada Pinkett a bitch. He talked about the kids. Like there's all kinds of different narratives that are wrapped around this right now, man. Have y'all? You still ain't seen it, Rail? Have you seen any of this? I know you don't pay attention. Have you seen any?
Yeah, I've seen. Yeah, I watched it.
Okay. Now, what did you think about it?
I mean, to me, it was a regular Chris Rock comedy special. I mean, I like most of his comedy specials, and this one was no different. I mean, he was very observant and spoke on shit that he pretty much said a lot of shit I've said before. And then the funny thing is, like the whole Meghan Markle shit or the Jada Pinkett shit, it points out the title of the special, which is Selective Outrage.
Beautifully named, beautifully executed. And I seen people say it wasn't funny at all. And I feel like maybe it was just over your head, because I feel like
it might have been a higher level of comedy. You're
right. You got some comedians that's comedians intellectual. They have intellectual comedy, and you got some comedians that's just stupid funny. You know what I'm saying?
You got to figure out who's saying they didn't like it. Was it somebody who think Mike Epps is funny? Because people swear Mike Epps' comedy shit be funny, and he
always keep it to myself, right?
He retarded me, or like he act like he say he used to ride the short bus. So
I think Mike Epps is hilarious. I don't know.
He's like watching somebody on the short bus. I mean,
I like the silly comedians too. But you know what I mean? Like when you talk about the intellectual comedians and you got people who say shit that be like, oh, they ain't even that funny. They ain't funny. I always had these thoughts in my head like, oh, dumbass. You know what I'm saying?
You just couldn't understand it.
You know what I mean? I know what kind of nigga you is.
Listen,
you ain't no thinker, is you? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You don't think about shit before you do it.
I don't know how you could not think the Meghan Markle thing was not classic. Like that was classic comedy. And he said, once again, what we said on Outlaw Radio when it all first happened. So, and I don't talk on the phone with Chris Rock. So that lets you know there's a bunch of us who have these great minds think alike. It made such, he said, who did you think you was marrying? You're talking about the royal family. Like,
right.
I love the way he did it. And you're right, Kamar. I am kind of biased with that. When people say it wasn't funny, I'd be looking at them like, your ass just didn't understand.
Right. It was just
you ain't cerebral, are you? Right?
That
like
shit went over your head. You ain't no thinker.
Right. We shouldn't look down on people like that, Kamar. That's intellectual bullying.
Can't help it, man. No, it's not, because I don't say it.
Okay.
Right? I just think.
But no, I think Mike Epps is funny too. I think Mike Epps is the classic example of Midwestern funny. Where I come from, like everybody got a family member like Mike Epps, and
he's like the animated
hilarious
funny.
Right.
Some people need that animated silly funny because they don't understand the Chris Rock or DL Hughley type of comedy, where you got to process it a little different.
There's some of that in Mike Epps' comedy too, though, especially if you watch the last one. There's a lot of him getting older and making certain points. If you watch any comedian only to laugh, then I think you're cheating yourself out of the experience.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just about laughing, falling on the floor. It's about saying, wow, I never thought about that shit before.
And they say that was the point of a comedian or what he was derived from, which was the jester. The jester was the only person who could say shit about the kingdom or the king that other people observed, but he presented it in a way to where he wouldn't get killed. So a comedian makes social commentary and observation, but they put it in a way to make light of it so they could bring awareness to it in a funny way so they ain't getting killed.
Right.
Exactly. Tiarsha, MC Tone said, if anyone slaps me, I'm catching a case. That's their ass. He said, Mike Epps funny. Dion said Mike Epps is funny because he has truth comedy. Yeah, he's a mirror on our community. Mama Jenkins says, see, back in the day, our parents had jobs in the community and they were family supporting jobs. We walked to school and we posted by the neighbors' houses where most mamas were on the porches watching us get our ass to school. There was such a different scenario. The community was totally different. Ruben Anderson said, "Y'all on point. Thank you, my brother. Thank you for tuning in. Y'all share the show. I forgot to say that. I get to having a good time. It's so important. And I want to shout out people because I do see a lot of times I'm going through Facebook and whatnot, and I see people sharing the show, and I'm like, damn, okay. I appreciate that, man. That's why I always love anybody who supports the show, man. We really, really, really dig you. You are the truth, babe. That was my Sammy Davis. You are a cool cat. All right. Cat Williams funny too. I never liked Chris Rock because he crossed over. I watched the Chris Rock show on HBO back in the days, and I can tell you that was the original Chappelle show, right?
Yeah.
Now, before Chappelle even did that, Chris Rock had the Chris Rock show was, man. I remember I used to play a skit because I used to play sound bites on the show when we were on not StreamYard, but Spreaker, because they would let me upload sound bites and I could play them. And one of the ones that I would play was how not to get shot by the police.
Right.
That Chris Rock did, where he's like, never get into an argument with your girl when the police put you over. He got weed. Like that shit was funny as hell. He did what Chappelle did way before the Chappelle show came. So I was always a fan. And then I heard Never Scared. To me, Never Scared was one of the more powerful stand-up comedy. And it set the precedent for this level of comedy that we have now. Because D.L. Hewley was just ribbing people in the audience. Right? He didn't become politically inclined as he is now until later on. So Chris Rock was that originator, and like Rail said, it was pretty similar to all the rest of them. Some people say he done jokes that he had done at other shows. Well, I haven't been to a Chris Rock show lately.
But you know, that's what comedians do.
They try the material.
They do that, man. They working their jokes.
That's right.
Until they get to that Netflix show where they getting the big money. They do that. Kevin Hart was talking about how like he'll work a whole show for about 2 years around in different little small comedy spots, you know what I mean, before he do the big show.
Yeah, that's what they do. Dave Chappelle said that's what he did for his last special. He's like, he admits that I take this bit and I start here. And then my brother who just passed in the summer, unfortunately, who I thought David, I forget what his name was, who was really on the edge about to be the next one up. It's very sad.
With the jean outfits, he was
David Arnold, I think his name was.
Like that about his stepfather called him a crackhead or some shit.
No, this dude he did jokes about his family, but he was a writer and stuff in Hollywood. His name is David.
Yeah, that's the dude. He was like, he was too young to be dying, but yeah, he was saying how he used to say how he was raised by his stepdaddy and shit, and his mama. Right. Yeah, he was a funny cat.
Right. And he said the same thing. This is what you do. You start up here and then you end there with it. But I thought the best thing was said by Donnell Rawlings, who we know as Ashy Larry, who said, I feel like right now, him and Will should sit and talk because now basically Chris got his lick back because he lit them up. He lit them on fire. Like,
see, I think honestly, and people was like, why he bringing it up? He sound bitter and all that shit. And to be honest, I think that by this being his special, he just used it because he never spoke on the shit.
Right.
So this was his time to.
Yeah, I agree.
Say what happened, and honestly, it gave me a new perspective because I didn't know why the name out his mouth, but then he brought up like she told me I should quit my job because her husband ain't get. So I mean, I look at it too like, yeah, she started the shit. She should have just ate that L, but you know, now he called her a bitch because yeah, she said he should quit his job and basically sicked her nigga on him. So yeah, that is some bitch shit.
Yeah, I think when he said dude start channeling Tupac Shakur, that shit was funny as hell. All that shit was classic. Dion said DL is trash and Cedric said is funny as hell on stage. Said is horrible on TV. I don't like him on TV. His stand-up is funny as hell. DL is genius, man. I don't know what you're talking about, Dion. You know, great minds. You know,
said an entertainer. He'll sing, he'll dance, shit. He'll tell some jokes.
Said is funny as hell on every stand-up I've ever seen from Cedric the Entertainer was funny as hell. And DL is one of those ones who will make you think. We went to see DL live when he came here with Charlie Murphy and Mike Epps and Eddie Griffin and what's the Mexican George Lopez. So my wife and I and my partner, we went down to see him at the Bradley Center before they tore it down. And shit was funny as hell. It was funny. I mean, and DL was hilarious. Mike Epps was funny too. I don't know why you says garbage. I get why people would say they don't like DL because, like we just said, for some people the political humor just ain't them because sometimes they don't know who the person's talking about. So if they name somebody, if they do a joke about Nancy Pelosi, and you don't know who Pelosi is, it won't be funny to you. You just be like, I don't get it. What? But if you know who she is and you know what her latest faux pas is, you be like, oh hell no, he killed her. So it just depends on where you at. I want it to be over. I want it to be over because a year later we're talking about it again, right? Like, and it is what it is at this point. He slapped you. You came out basically and just disrespected him and his wife. And it is what it is. Like Marlon, now what Marlon did, Marlon Wayans talked about the fact he talked about both ways that he knew each one of them and how he had such a connection. Because obviously Chris Rock was down with the older Wayans brothers and one of the Eddie Murphy Black Pack people. So Marlon grew up as from a little boy around all these dudes, Chris Rock included. He talks about how Chris Rock heckled him on stage one night doing stand-up, and he quit stand-up for 20 years. So Chris Rock was a big brother figure kind of, but he also had some things that he said Chris Rock took a girl from him when they were young. He's talking about being on the set of I'm Gonna Get You Sucker and shit like this. And so he talks about how he knew Jada Pinkett and how beautiful she actually was and how much of a beautiful person she was. I never knew they were that close. He talked about them being super, super close. And he said, I wanted her, but I never told her. But he also talked about her body. Like she ain't got no breasts and no booty. Like he went in there and it was funny.
Part of G.I. Jane and shit.
No, I'm talking about Marlon Wayans on his latest special. Man.
I thought you was talking about
no, Marlon Wayans went in on her, like her body. But he talked about how he was in love with her and she was just a beautiful lady. Then he talked about how she got with Will, which broke his heart, and he felt like Will kind of gloated. So, but he said he loves everybody involved. So his whole show was about, it was called God Loves Me. And the point that he made in the end was he lost out on some stuff to Chris Rock, and he always wondered, man, I want to be like him. I want to be like him. But then you realize that he has issues too. He was in love with Jada, and he felt like, man, why couldn't I never get her? And why couldn't I never get her? And he looked at what she's going through now and say, well, she wasn't for you. And then he looked at Will saying, damn, dude, got the girl. I want to be him. He's so successful and all this. But obviously he got some issues. So he said, basically, I'm just happy to be Marlon motherfucking Wayans. God loves me and he loves you too. Pretty good stuff. It was a pretty good show. But he did some jokes about Will Smith saying like Will Smith is the only black man that ever got a chance to save the world. So white people thought he was white. He said a lot of white people didn't even know Will Smith was black until he slapped Chris Rock. And after they was traumatized the next day, like, honey, I think Will Smith's a nigger. Like it was, you got to watch it. So I think at this point, like Donnell Rollins said, they need to say, man, bygones be bygones. I don't rock with you. You don't rock with me. Let's keep it pushing. And just, I don't think either one of them should dwell on it. But then again, Chris is a comedian. So it could be for him to do jokes about the shit for the next 10 years and just continue to shit on Will. Will and them just got to get to the point and be like, okay, whatever.
I felt like he was supposed to wait for his time to say something. Like, fuck getting on social media. I say something, I'm going to make it count. I'm going to get paid for mine.
I'm a comedian. Right. I'm a comedian. I'll get your ass.
You know what I mean? Motherfuckers want to hear me speak. I'm gonna shut the fuck up for a minute. And when it's my turn to shine on my show, my next Netflix show, I'm gonna address this shit.
Yeah, man.
We gonna get the views up. We gonna get motherfuckers talking about it again just to get the views going.
Well, they said Netflix gave him $40 million. So his booking. Oh, Netflix pays the hell out of these comedians. That's why Monique was mad. Like, y'all only gave $700,000. They be man. Because Chappelle cashes, he breaks the bank every time he do something on Netflix.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But then your bookings, the price of your bookings go through the roof too. So but so now this is another thing. They're saying allegedly Tyler Perry is in talks to buy BET and VH1.
Yeah.
T.I. Sharpton said
He
everyone
all
that
over
made jokes and
BET
memes
Plus.
about the slap for a long time don't get mad now because he's making jokes about it. Go ahead, Kamar.
I said, talking about Tyler Perry, I'm like, he already got all his shows and took over BET Plus.
Right. Yeah.
He
Yeah,
might
really
as
though.
well buy it.
This and VH1. Should we be worried about what BET is gonna look like if Tyler Perry buy it, or is this a step in the right direction?
Well, shit, I mean, no, I don't think we should be worried about it. At least a black man got it.
Right, at least be back in black hands
Right.
and just like Kamar said, shit, a lot of his shit on there anyway. I mean, I don't think it can get no worse than what what Viacom did with it. They basically made it an MTV in blackface, because all those reality shows that was on MTV fucking MTV up, they just did it in blackface on BET and fucked BET up. So hopefully now we at least get black ownership and black shows.
Right. And I remember when VH1 didn't even play black music. That's how old I am.
Yeah.
They played like light rock and like what you watching VH1 for? Like I used to watch pop-up video on VH1 and
That's
shit.
what I used to watch it for, pop-up video.
That's how old I am and shit. I seen something else that bothered me. And I heard people being very critical of it. Joe Biden, along with several black civil rights.
Dog, that shit look like The Walking Dead.
I mean,
hey, they was holding him up. It was some old black people holding his old ass up.
Man, they always looking bad.
He wouldn't have made it across that motherfucker by himself, man.
So if people don't know, they walked across the Edmund Pettus Bridge in Alabama, I believe, where Bloody Sunday took place. And so this is like a historical event, and it was, I guess, a bunch of people who were already there, or who were there back in the days. And you're right. Was Joe Biden alive? Was this weekend at Bernie's? Was he dead? Like it looked
he
like
looked dead as a motherfucker, man.
They all look bad, man.
It looked like they carried him across that motherfucker.
It was fun because the video I seen, it showed them like slugging the cross, but then it put that meme up of Dr. Claude Anderson that said, "Black folks been marching for 150 years and they never did shit for us. When we gonna stop marching?"
MC Tom says Selma, Alabama. I thought it was Alabama. Okay. Black History Month. It was the end of Black History Month. This is a significant day in history, but what is the point of walking across this bridge today?
I don't know, man.
And I don't want to take juice from a person who's older, a black person who's older, who's saying, I was there that day and I experienced it. And I know what them Selma cops was about. And so I remember what happened to us. They beat the shit out of us. So I want to commemorate it. But I just didn't understand. It seemed like Al Sharpton and like a bunch of people who are what I would call retired from even being on the front lines right now. Like, I mean, come on. Like, really, what does Al Sharpton do now? Like, I don't know. I know he's on the radio. I know he does a lot of speaking.
He go around and get paid. He get paid to go ambulance chase pretty much.
Right, take pictures and shit.
There's that. Yeah. You know, I've listened to his show because they actually syndicated, or they used to, on WNOV here in Milwaukee in the afternoons. I don't know if they or was it about 10 to 12? I think they do. And for me, when I listen to it, I'd be like, man, is anybody listening to this show or calling in that's under the age of 65? I'm not saying that they don't deserve a voice. I'm just saying this is a different time and a different day, right? Like, I feel like they should be in consultant mode right now, helping the next generation to come along, as opposed to still trying to commandeer the spotlight. Just my belief, right? Some people said it was pandering what Biden did. I don't know what the point of it was, right? It's one of those things where I say, You did that for what? Like, what statement did that make? People said, but because it was such a crazy thing that happened back in the day. Yeah, in the 50s, yes, it was a horrific incident. But are you saying we doing this now to show that we're free now because we can cross this bridge without getting beat? I don't. If you know the point, let me know. I don't know. This is one of the things when I don't know something, I'm fully open. MC Tone said he was there. They beat the perm off my ass. He was on the bridge. They beat his perm out his head. Okay, MC Tone, man. Look, MC Tone will be here next week, y'all. In the flesh. We're gonna MC Tone is an interview that you will cherish for the rest of your life. Can somebody tell me what the hell is going on with it? And this is something I want to talk about y'all, and I'm running out of time tonight. We're gonna have to do a show about this. What's up with all the Satanism now? Because I see Lil Uzi Vert, and I see all these people with this, and they're talking about, well, I'm a Satanist and I worship Satan, and to me, this is a bad thing. This is something that I want no parts of. You all identify spiritually differently than I do. So how do you all feel about this? And black people didn't used to do this kind of bullshit, but we see them jumping in the fray now. What do you think about this?
I feel like to each his own. Like if that's what you want to do it. But I think what's really going on, man, is the youth, they depressed. They depressed. They ain't believing in nothing. Ain't nothing that they ever thought was truth holding up. You know what I mean? These people telling them everything, every shit turning out to be lies. You know what I'm saying? So like, I just think really they just feel like they doing the opposite of what's taught. You know what I mean? They just rebel. They rebelling and they depressed at the same time.
Because I seen this footage of him at his concert, and I'm like, this dude done lost his mind.
Them motherfuckers be sad, man.
It's reprobated mind. What you think about this, Real?
I think this is just the next thing to cause panic, fear, and outrage. I mean, I personally no longer subscribe to the beliefs of Satan. But if black people want that shit, I mean, I just think it's, the black youth is just as fed up and tired as how the white youth used to be, to where they was rebelling against their parents. So I think now a lot of the black youth, like we in the age of Aquarius, or the age of information. So now we're starting to get the revelation that the shit we was taught was bullshit. So I think a lot of them, as they come into the knowledge and realize how the religion that we did subscribe to was used to oppress and exploit us, I think instead of just leaving shit alone, they just went all the way left and said, well, I'll be anti-Christian now type shit. But, I think it's just just like with everything else, how people get hypersensitive to shit. Just like how people get hypersensitive to racism or misogyny because, unfortunately, they were hurt by that system. I think this is that shit. And now the media is capitalizing on it just because that's the new, I think that's going to be the new outrage and the new marginalized group. You either Christian or you a Satanist. And it's like, shit, I'm neither one, because you got to believe in that Bible book to believe in the villains of that fucking book.
Okay. To me, when I see people engaging in this kind of behavior, it represents a collapse of some sort, right? I think the sentiment of what Satan, or who Satan actually is, or what he represents, is evil, right? Like the idea, the embodiment of evil. The when you say ultimate, just why people are just corrupted. That's what who Satan is. When you say I'm a Satanist, to me, what you're saying is I embrace no morals. I embrace a lifestyle where I don't have to answer to anyone. I don't believe in God because I want to be allowed to do whatever I want with no parameters. I want to live with no rules and no laws. And I think any person who can live with no rules and no laws is a dangerous person, because we need rules and laws in society, right? Yeah, now, some we have that are unjustly written and conceived, and we know that. That's why we must always update the rules and laws of the land. But I think you have to have them, and I think you have to have moral rules and laws. And anytime you set your mind on, I'm going to embrace every single whim that I want to embrace with no repercussions or consequences, you're a dangerous person, right? That can lead to depravity. That could lead to you, well, why can't I screw a little kid? Why can't I murder somebody?
See,
Why
I
can't
honestly feel that religion is ultimately more dangerous than not having religion, because when you have religion, you have people. Okay, so there's spirituality and then there's religion. Spirituality is my unique awareness of my connection to the unseen divine source of life and love. That's spirituality.
right?
Religion is following dogmatic rules that other man
Oh, you talking that shit.
They paused his ass too.
Yeah,
is
you talking that shit.
You gotta turn the knob up on your on your modem.
Pull that antenna up.
He got that little switch that say TV and game that we had back in the days for Atari.
Put some aluminum foil on the antenna.
Right, we missed everything you said. Your
Word.
iPhone ain't iPhoning. Your iPhone ain't iPhoning.
See, look, see, because I must have been saying some shit that people need
Yeah,
to hear.
you talking that shit.
But no, what I was gonna say is it's just, I mean, as far as Satan in general, that's our idea of what we've been told Satan is. Because if you even look from the Abrahamic religion, before Christianity, when you're dealing with Judaism, when you're dealing with the Old Testament, Satan wasn't the enemy of God. Satan was actually a person in God's court. He was the prosecutor. That's what he was. He wasn't good, bad. He was the prosecutor. He brought shit before God. Hey, this is what they doing, this, that, and the third. You know, it said he was an accuser of the brethren, going before God to tell on us day and night. So he talked to God at least twice a day, when some of us ain't talked to God at all. So over time, Satan has been warped to represent the serpent, the devil, evil, Lucifer. Like, honestly, if you really study the Bible archaeologically, those are all different people, or different. I ain't even gonna say people, because Lucifer is actually the planet Venus. But you know, but
I don't know what the hell is going on.
that shit went out again.
Yeah.
The funniest part is it went out before you said your shit, and then when you came back in, like you had just said something profound, it was like well, you ain't said nothing. Like what happened?
Right. Well,
get
do
what
your
you said.
research. Go grab your Bible. Go into the Old Testament. Go into the book of Job. You'll see that Satan was just a member of God's court. He didn't represent no shit like that. It happened when the church had to demonize Greek gods. And that's when Satan took on the horned figure of the satyr, or Dionysus, who was the god of wine. So even what we believe about Satan is a lie that the European church has told us.
Right, I get it. I guess for me, it's more symbolic than anything else.
Right, it represents evil, and the fact that these people choosing violence over God, and
not just violence, but just depravity. Just
right.
You know,
And
a society without parameters is a very dangerous place to live. That's kind of like what's going on with our community now. There's no rules. There's no etiquette. There's no code. You know, there's no thing that says, "Hey, young man or young woman, you got to respect yourself and your community." It's cool to just be out here now. It's just like, well, this is the new normal because we're going to live without any kind of, some people say the fear of that whole religious thing, the way they told us, some of us kept our behaviors in check for a long time. It scared some people straight, I guess. And now that that's kind of been, I feel like, broken down by a lot of people. And see, one thing about me is if you don't want to believe in the way it was structured, that's fine. But don't get to the point where now you want to preach to other people about Satanism. Because we all know what that's really about. Right? We know that's, come on, like you said, that ain't shit. I wouldn't want a house full of Satanists to move next door to me. I don't know what they're like they doing.
Honestly, like I said, just when you look at the history of the church, slavery was done in the name of Jesus. The Inquisition was done in the name of Jesus. The Salem witch trials, more people have been killed in the name of Jesus than ever in the name of Satan. All you got to do is look in the Old Testament where they said, wipe out all these people except the little girls, keep them for yourself.
But even in that, using Jesus' name to murder people is Satan. It's him.
It's just religion.
It's not because if you're using his name to kill, then you're not representing him truly. You're representing Satan.
See, and that's what people say. But honestly, he was created for that. This is how the church gained power. Anybody who disagreed with the church was labeled a heretic or a Satanist or a witch. Like they killed witches by saying they poison you, they bewitch you, they kill your children. All that shit was the church saying some shit against people that they didn't agree with. But when you even look back in history, witches were just herbalists, healers, shit like that. But because they were women who knew their power and went against the church had to make them sound bad. So I'm saying get rid of religion altogether. Shit. If there's no Bible, there's no Satanist. If there's no God, there's no enemy Satanist.
That's why Kamar is the ghetto witch doctor.
Right. Because he healed folk.
Right.
That's why I own. And you know what? I'm gonna tell you. That's why I own that. You know what I mean? It was our women that they was calling witches. You know what I'm saying? Because they knew how to heal. They knew how the body works. They had knowledge of self also. And
the witch doctor was always a scary motherfucker. Like, you don't know what he gonna do to your ass. He put roots on me. T.R. Sharp.
Hey, that's the shit that they put on them. The evil part that they put on them. You know what I mean? No motherfucker about that because we talking about people who are spiritual. You know what I mean? They rooted in love. It ain't nothing evil about that.
Chicken heads and voodoo bones. That's what they told us. You got a bone necklace on, right? Necklace made out of little bitty bones. T.R. Arthur says Satan was an angel and he was kicked out of heaven because he was going against God. There we go. There we go.
According to the book. But if you do your research, you'll find out that what Jesus was speaking on when he said he seen Lucifer falling from heaven like a lightning bolt. Lucifer means light bearer, and it was what was referred to. That's what they call Venus. Venus is also the bright morning star because that's the only star you would see, or that's the only heavenly body you would still see during the daytime. Before the sun rose, you would see Venus. All this shit is astrological. It's fairy tales based upon cosmology.
Remind me to never smoke a joint with Rail. You will leave. I can see Rail. Man, do you understand, brother? When the planets see the stars,
we gotta get out this stupid shit. We gotta get out these dark ages. This why we scared. Oh, Satan is old. Lord have mercy. Satan is here. No, Satan in the Hebrew sources, he was a henchman of God. He wasn't an enemy of God. He wasn't an enemy of man. He was a henchman. He was the prosecutor.
Okay. And we're gonna get back on this next week because I ain't done with it. Kamar, what you got coming up this weekend? I know we're supposed to have snow. What you got coming this weekend?
This weekend I'm going down. I'm gonna be at the gathering, right? You know, we was just talking about the Chamber of Commerce. Well, they part of that. They sponsor of that. Our sponsors of that. So what they doing is they told me I could come down. They giving me a certain amount of money so I can come down there with my products, just with a bunch of samples, and pass my shit out. Publicity pretty much. You know what I mean? I drop them off at the table. They'll be at the Chamber of Commerce table. So if y'all listening and y'all going to the gathering, go find the Chamber of Commerce table. You know what I'm saying? We're going to have some vitality samples for you. You get you some vitality samples, and you get you a cup of hot tea also. I'm going to have about 5 gallons of hot tea down there. So you better come get it while you can. Free cups too. Free cups of hot tea.
Free cups.
Vitality.
I was gonna say, you normally charge for the cups. The tea is free, but the cup costs $2.
Right.
You get to keep motherfucker, it's a paper cup. What you talking about? That's a good idea though. You ain't got to pay for the tea, you just got to pay for the cups.
Yeah, but see, that's something else that the Chamber of Commerce doing. You know what I mean? They've been rocking with me. Okay. I'm not even a member yet. I plan on joining. It's a bunch of stuff that I want to do with them. But they just rocking with me because they feel that they see what I'm doing is genuine. You know what I mean? It's something good for the community. And, they keeping me up to date.
That's what's
happening. Involved with stuff. So,
Real, what you got shaking, man?
Oh, shit. Steady running up my TikTok, higher frequency. Y'all check me out where I discuss things like this that we need to grow the fuck up out of. I just did a video on hell because hell wasn't in the original Bible either. Sheol was just the grave. Hell was actually a Nordic goddess who was the ruler of the underworld. But the church took all this shit because in order to control people, you can't control nobody who ain't scared to die. So when people no longer afraid to die, you got to give them something to be afraid of. Oh, well, shit, you ain't scared to die? Well, are you scared of eternal damnation? Because that's where you're going to go if you don't listen to me. Type shit. So, y'all want this information, come follow me on TikTok, higher frequency, HIGHERFREAKUENCY.
That's what's happening, man. That's what's happening. Holler at me for the apparel. You got to inbox me your sizes, what style you want, and then just cash at me, and then your order will get set in motion. So if you've already paid, then yours is on the way. It's fully customized, man. This is a labor of love that we do here in-house. My wife, like I said, she does an excellent job with it, and I've watched her really become really, really, really talented at doing this. I still can't make them. I can sell them, but I can't make them. She puts the whoop on it and got computer programs and all kinds of stuff. So shout out to her. But get with me if you want the apparel. Like MC Tone said, I challenge everybody to grab some apparel from me, be it a t-shirt or a hoodie or whatever. But also challenge you to share the show. That's all I really ask for. There's still people listening to the show that we did with the whole blow up about the trans stuff, and I'm seeing comments, people saying, "Well, it's transphobia." At this point, I'm just, if that's what you label it, that's what you label.
Still?
It is what it is. Yeah.
If they watch
but that's a good thing though.
Hell no, they just going off the comments.
If you keep the name of Outlaw Radio in your mouth, it's a good thing. So keep us in your mind and your heart, man. So support the show. We appreciate all recognition. So if it makes you have an opinion and it triggers you, then it did what it was supposed to do, because words actually mean something. I'm glad that this was a day that acknowledges women, especially in a day and time where you got laws that tell women what they can or can't do with their bodies. I think it's very important that we acknowledge who they are and what they are and what they're worth to our families, to our communities. And when I say what they are, I mean like in terms of being a valuable resource, especially Black women, because I've always said Black women are the greatest natural resource on this planet, especially for a Black man. I think very little value has been placed on the importance of us being communities where our family ties are strong. In order for you to have a strong family tie, then the woman has to be respected. The man has to be revered. The children have to be nurtured. Those things have to happen for a community to flourish. And when those things don't happen, Well, we see the result is what we have right now, right? And when Judge Borowski says this is a sewer, you think about what's in the sewer: waste, increment, trash, dirty water, dirty the things you don't want in your home. That's what's in the sewer, the undesirable elements. And so when it gets so bad in our community where somebody will say that place is a sewer, I think it's a very poignant statement, and especially somebody who holds a position in the court system, and he's doling out years every day to young black men and women. We talk about school to prison pipeline. Here's a conductor, right? And when he looks and says that community is trash and that community is garbage and is giving you no structure and you don't have anything that you need, and this is why I got to send your ass up the river. So that means in any case he goes in where there's somebody from our community that has been through some of the things that go on in our community, maybe he might be a little bit biased. And I'm hoping that doesn't bleed into the conviction rates, which we know are disproportionate between black and white offenders, which means your white counterpart is going to get less time for the same crime that you both committed than you will as a person of color. So while he's calling people out, he may need to take a look at some of the judges in the Supreme Court who make all kinds of conservative judgments that affect people in communities of color. See, it's top down, shit rolls downhill. I don't want him to think that this community is dysfunctional and sewer like on its own. There's been a lot of people to help make sure that it's in the condition that it's in. So I would hope he treads lightly, and I would hope that within him making this great, profound statement, which I don't disagree with, that he sees some way to create change in what he's doing, right? Because they always say, don't sit around and talk about what you're going to do. Be the change you want to see. That's what they say, right? So I'm hoping something comes out of this. Something's going to have to shake in Milwaukee because the city is out of order. The community is out of order. The school system is out of order. The leadership is out of order, meaning it's all broken down. And the only way it's going to get fixed is if we do it, not talk about it, but do it. Meaning holding people accountable for what they are supposed to be doing for our best interests, right? Once again, I'm very, very happy that we had a chance to acknowledge women. And I'll say this once and I'll say it again. A mother is one of the most one of the most wonderful, naturally occurring phenomena that you will ever witness. A mom's love for her child is one of the craziest, most deepest things you'll ever see. Now, when you talk about unconditional love, mothers and women, I'm saying women because like I said, my mama was a woman. It's incredible, man. And the one thing that hurt me the most about when my mom passed is that I knew I would never meet anybody who loved me as much as my mama loved me. And that was what created the most sadness. It's like I'll never encounter somebody who loves me that much again. But in the meantime and in between time, tune in next week, share the show, go back to shows our archive, push our YouTube page. Tiarsha inbox me. We'll talk about what you got to do to get your t-shirt. She said she want a t-shirt too. We're gonna do that. Inbox me if you want to do it, man. And shout out to everybody out there in the community who is doing something. And if you feel slighted by the show, then it is what it is. That's your fault, man. Because the one thing you got to realize is in a city like this, you run across people all the time whose criticism of the community outweighs their contribution. Don't get mad at us because we just simply turn and say, they some motherfucking coons. I'll see y'all Monday, man. Peace and love.